can sense it, can't we? Football season is right around the corner. I've had one of the luckiest runs in the history of mankind. I was allowed to be a part of the multi-time Emmy Award-winning institution that is College Game Day.
Let a naysayer know.
That is not what I thought.
Professional's right in the middle of his lead. That's all right. I just keep going.
You almost lost me.
When my contract came up, after living a dream alongside that crew that is just as talented off camera as they are on camera.
What the hell is that? Stealth bomber right there.
I thought long and hard, am I the right person to be doing this incredible gig? There are millions of people that would love to be sitting in my seat. Am I the right guy for it? Is this what I want to do?
Hit a kid, Alex! No! Good! Somebody killed a kid! And no good! Good effort! The worst kick we have ever seen!
And the only thing that I kept coming back to is, hell fucking yeah.
Give me Alabama to break.
I'm lucky, I'm honored, I'm humbled, I'm grateful, and I'm back.
Give me a hell yeah!
Hey,
Why?
let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink!
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this College Ball Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. This program starts now. It is a wonderful time to be alive. Happy birthday to my beautiful wife. I hope it is going swimmingly, and it is an honor to be your husband and also baby daddy. You know, as we move forward, we will celebrate the shit out of her, obviously, through the weekend. But today, obviously, to start the show, we made an announcement that it is officially official. As Adam Pierce, that bald stooge, would say, I am returning to College Game Day. And although I don't want to make a big deal out of it, I know it is a big fucking deal that it's happening. There was some drama, obviously, that started lingering. We had chatted about it, me, Burke, and Jimmy, obviously, whenever the licensing of the show conversation was taking place. Then some lawyer at ESPN tried to be a super genius. I closed Sicilianed him. I ended up being a free agent, and it was a real moment of looking in the mirror and saying, am I the right person for this job? Obviously, the athletic poll came out last year. I think it was like 50% of the people were like, get this guy the hell off of College Game Day. I'm a College Game Day fan. I enjoyed waking up on Saturday mornings and watching the show that propels us into college football Saturday and inevitably into NFL Sunday. So for those people to have a terrible morning because of my existence was certainly something that weighed very heavy on this here dumbass sports stooge heart. That's real, brother, because we have the show Monday through Friday. Obviously, it's 3 hours every single day. We're lucky to do it. We create it. We produce it. There are zero people from journalism school here. We are kind of doing our own thing, but it's a lot of work. I'm my own agent. I'm my own representative. I'm my own strategizer. I'm my own schemer alongside the great boys that I have working here. So it's a lot of effort Monday through Friday. Saturday mornings used to be the only time I was really able to sleep in and get a rest. Then when you get offered the opportunity to join the College Game Day, you can't say no to that. You're talking about one of the greatest shows in the history of television. You're talking about one of the greatest shows in the history of sports media. Kirk Herbstreit, good friend of ours, now at this point will join us in the second hour, was one of the driving forces behind getting me on that program. And then whenever I got there, I fell in love with it. How could you not? The entire pageantry of college football is on display for 3 hours before the games even start. Millions. Hey! Millions of people are watching every single day or every single Saturday, hoping that they can learn about the entire story of college football that year. So I took it as a great honor. I was very lucky. I was very thankful to be there. I enjoyed every single stop that we made, every college town that we stopped through, every restaurant we went to, every small little dive bar I'd have some beers at, the conversations alongside everybody at the desk, and the people that work behind the camera are just as cool and talented as the people that are on camera. So it was like I was a part of their family. But did I want to continue to ruin these people's Saturdays? And did I want to maybe sleep in on a Saturday morning during football season with my baby girl, obviously, as she's continuing to grow and evolve? Pooped on the floor yesterday.
Yep. Nice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Good work.
Decided to go no diaper, let her run a little free. She sat down, pooped right on the floor. I was like, hey, I like it.
Yep.
We got some grit. We're able to do that entire thing, but she's going to grow. So do I want to be away? It was an actual decision that was all based on, not on my love of college football, because obviously I fell in love with it over the last few years. I've been incredibly lucky. Not because of my love for the people at College Game Day. I enjoy the shit out of all those people that are a part of that entire family, but mostly because, do I want to sign up to hear, in my mentions, how terrible of a person I am by people that will never understand the type of human I am? Is that what I want to sign up for? We're doing okay everywhere else. And every time I thought about it, I was like, what? I get the opportunity to do this. I'm still getting the opportunity to do this. I need to do this. So all the way back, I think I'm happy we can put that conversation to bed. I'm excited to be there. To that lawyer, you're a genius, buddy. You did great. Caused a lot of shit, but ultimately in the end, the stooge in a USA tank top, and if I would have had jorts on, could work you every time in that negotiating table. Just remember that and never ever forget it. And to all you journalists that are talking about it, it's like, I'd love to sit in a room with you one-on-one too and see how it ends up. But to the college football fans, thank you for embracing me and my stupidity. And I can't wait to get back on the road with the entire crew on Saturdays throughout fall. 12-team playoff too this year.
Hell yeah.
Huge.
Going to be the biggest year yet, and already started all the research and scouting from NCAA 2K College Football 25. Of
course.
It's a beautiful time to be alive. We'll have Coach Matt Rule in the second hour. We got a chance to catch up with him yesterday. That's a 37-minute convo about college football and the Nebraska Cornhuskers and everything they got going. Herb Street will join us. In about 8 minutes, Michael Lombardi will join us, obviously friend of the program, Paisan, who's been a GM in the NFL and everything. He was a part of this entire process, decision-making. He's one of the people I call whenever hey, Lombo, I'm about to go sit down with blah, blah, blah. This is how I feel. Is this the right way to feel? And he's like the best. Ooh, also think about this, right? And I'm like, thank you, Lombo. Then he called Nick Khan, obviously, president of WWE. I'm like, Nick, I want to punch these people in the mouth. And he's like, well, what instead of that? Why don't we say this? And it's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I have a lot of people that have helped me get to this point. I have a lot of people that have wanted me to rejoin College Game Day. And the fact that we're able to do it, I'm excited about it. And thank you to everybody for the interest. Thank you to the puppets who are going to write terrible things about this. Thank you to the college football fans who don't think that I've earned my place at that desk. I agree, but I hopefully will by the end of this season. And I think I'm going to win you over with what we're going to do on Saturday mornings. It's going to be a blast. Coach Nick Saban's there now.
Yeah,
Come on now.
We have a pretty good relationship, old Saban and I, so it should be a fun time. The Toxic Table's here at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. What we've been able to do with college football world over the last couple of years has been some of the coolest shit of all time. Could you imagine not doing that this year? I actually thought about that a lot whenever this whole thing was happening. It's like, how could we ever decide to miss out on those moments? College football has been very good to us.
Oh, yeah, unbelievable. And I didn't go to a big college football school. There wasn't college football at my school. So really, when I was kind of ingratiated into that entire community, it was when you got into game day and really kind of watching all of it and just look at what, ESPN specifically has now with the SEC, with Texas joining and Oklahoma joining, and some of the matchups that we're getting from legitimately week one, not even including Ireland. Take Ireland out, which is going to be incredible.
Georgia Tech, Florida State.
Yeah.
People are calling it a gimmick game, but this is huge for Florida State.
Huge.
And Georgia Tech at the end of the year also, they're trying to cement themselves as hey, our program's going a different direction, but we're going to be celebrating Ireland in that.
Exactly.
Going to be good football, but that's going to be a celebration of Ireland and international, how big the sport is. But this game, obviously, Florida State's involved, so people are going to want to watch. I don't think it's their fourth-string quarterback, which is good.
No. Right.
Which is obviously
will be their starters.
That is a big deal, and Florida State has talent, and obviously we're a big fan of what they're building down there. Playoffs are right last year, just so we all have that understanding going into Dublin. But you're right. Every week there's bangers after bangers after bangers after bangers. Shout out to Seamus, shout out to Ireland.
And when you look at what the end of the season is going to be, you mentioned the 12-team playoff. Those, I don't think, at least myself, I don't think I can fully kind of comprehend what those home playoff environments are going to be like, because obviously, we did Alabama, Texas last year, and that was a massive game in Tuscaloosa. Obvious Sark coming back against Saban, all those storylines. But when you add the fact that it's a win or go home game, like, that is going to be incredible. So this might be, the greatest. This will be the greatest college football season that there probably has ever been.
Yeah, and they're going to tell stories of, past traditional games and rivalry games that have taken place, and we've missed some of those in the transition into this new one. Hopefully they'll all be able to get back into the schedule. But this does have a chance to live up to the billing of, hey, let's make this the biggest college football year of all time.
Yeah.
And pumped to be just a tiny little part of that entire thing.
Yeah, and people can complain about that stuff, but then you also have to think, like, we're going to get Ohio State and USC. Like, this will be the first time we're getting that for every year, most years. So, like, the new rivalries that we're going to get, I mean, like Connor's saying with, like, the big matchups, and it's not one of those things, but people used to always whine about, like, hey, these big-time programs, they play all these cupcakes in the early season, and, we don't get any games that we actually want to see until the conference play starts. I mean, we're talking about week 0, week 2, Michigan and Texas play each other. Like, it really is. It's just week after week. Like, people want to complain, but I think after this year's over, like, the traditionalists maybe will still think that, but I think most college football fans are going to be like, wow, this is incredible that this is what it's going to be like every single year starting this year.
And we're just a tiny little part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
How about our watch-alongs, man?
Yeah.
I think those are back. Not 100% sure. I think
go.
those are back, and I think they're all just going to be playoff games.
Yeah, I mean, those are so
Think about
fun
how lucky
to do.
we are. In
Yeah.
that video, I said how lucky I was like 4 times. Foxy had to edit out a few of them because I understand how lucky we are to be even asked to be a part of that show. But now that we are, like, let's go enjoy the shit out of this entire thing. 9-year NFL vet. Sweet hoodie. There's Jay
hoodie.
Butler.
Nice hoodie.
D-Butch, college ball is on fire right now,
Yeah.
especially with the game, leading into a season, leading into 12-game playoff, leading into massive marquee matchups that we haven't seen in a long time. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Football is beautiful, man.
We've gotten to do a lot of cool shit. Those games, those field passes, nothing like a Cotton Bowl, Red River rivalry. Obviously been in Bama, but then been in the Rose Bowl. Harbaugh's last college game. Maybe he goes back. Saban's last collegiate game before he retires. Obviously a huge game. Then going to the national championships as well. Like those experiences, the pretty much red zone watch along we had here in the Thunderdome. It's been dope, man. I'm glad to see you're back. I know a lot of people definitely were worried you would not be back.
And there's a lot of people excited.
I don't.
Oh yeah, remember we don't do this anymore.
We don't let those into our real algorithm. But I'm glad you're back, man. That's big news.
It was fun.
Congratulations,
Hey,
bro.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and thank you to everybody at ESPN. Obviously, that was very patient with this because I don't know if anybody, especially for a show like Game Day, with how massive and fresh off an Emmy and everything, and I'm telling you, the people that work there are so talented, like so talented, and it's like. I don't think there's anybody that's ever been just like, man, I don't think I'm the right guy. Like, I don't think I'm the right guy for your show. I don't think I'm the right guy for your show. And they're like, look, just remember. And Herb Street would send me like a text like of a video of me walking up on the stage in like some college saying hello to me before we even go live. He's like, let's make sure we remember, Let's make sure we're remembering this type of stuff because it was real. There's. With the way life is and with where we are now, very lucky to be where we are. Once again, very grateful for it all. This will not be happening forever, so I understand that we're in the middle of it, and it's very awesome. But with the amount of people that just bury me and murder me on a regular basis, like I am on the internet. Like it's not just as easy as just turning off your mentions. Like I have to know what's going on literally everywhere. So I am on my phone on a very regular basis. So whenever there's just an onslaught of me being the biggest douche or worst human on earth at one particular time of my week, every single week, it's like, maybe for the good of my life and for maybe my happiness and for everything, maybe I just remove that as I try to survive this thing while also kind of living what I preach, which is like you have to enjoy every moment, enjoy every day. It's a part of our show's vibes is like enjoy. But whenever you're just taking nukes, literally it gets difficult to remind yourself of that, especially whenever life starts happening. So that was literally the only thing that I was thinking about on whether or not we're going to go back. Always considered an incredible honor, but it's like, do I just want to get murdered by like 12 colleges, alumni, students, football? I mean, just every single week because we got to pick games at the end of the day. Get to pick. These are all get to things, but I also get killed after every single week if we say anything that is any bit entertaining, but potentially a little shit talking in the middle of it as well.
Well, and I think like a lot of people don't understand, because like we say stuff like there's one thing with like if you're shitting on someone's NFL team and you're getting like the heat from that and the mention, it's like, all right, whatever. Like that's part of it.
Charge it to the game.
Exactly, charge it to the game. But like it's not cool what happens, but it's also one of the reasons that college football is awesome is like when you come at someone's school, like people take it as like a personal affront to like their family, their legacy, their livelihoods. And yeah, they say some pretty reprehensible shit.
And start sending stuff to my house.
Exactly.
And like, it's like, do I, and I've asked Herbie numerous times, and I haven't got a chance to ask Lee about it because every conversation I have with Lee is just like super positive, him gassing me up all the time, so I don't really get into it. But like Herbie and I, we have some like real conversations about it all. I'm like, how have you been able to do this for 20? You got to be one of the most mentally tough humans of all time. And he goes, I just block it out. Just block it. You got to block it out. It's like, well, I can't, like I have to be on my phone. Like I have to be on the internet with our daily show because like things are just happening all the time. And it's like, Herbie's like, come on, you'll get through it. And he saw all these people that hate you too. They'll start to like you. And in most situations in my life, I've learned that is the case. This one is not. It's been a tough group to crack. It has been a tough group to crack, but it is an honor, and it will remain an honor. And I cannot wait to get to Dublin, Ireland, and live from Hammer Dahn. One of the most prolific sports gamblers on earth, ladies and gentlemen. Tone Diggs is over there. Tone, I know the thought of getting out of college ball was something you didn't necessarily love. We're all the way back, and that means another year of you typing up a college football preview pretty much every single week. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do, and I was very, very happy to hear that you were going back to game day because honestly, so we do the Friday shows there, and the Friday shows are awesome, but there's nothing like when we go to the set on Saturday morning and you guys are walking out onto the set and the crowd is erupting and there's this little football chill in the air and you could smell it. Like I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. So those Saturday mornings are some of my favorite times of all time, and you doing game day has led us to be able to go to those things and be in those atmospheres. Like that, those Saturday mornings, like college game day is a staple, and then when you're on it for us, it's so much more awesome. It really is. Like just being there to enjoy it and watch you guys move around the set and do your thing. It's awesome. I'm very, very excited for it.
Okay, and I'm very appreciative of you, obviously, and everything you've done. We got a gambler's guide, everything you need to know that it will be released, I believe, on our store at our website in a matter of like a week or so.
We're 5 weeks away. We're a month away, basically, from week 0. We're 5 weeks away from week 1. So, yeah, it's sometime in the next week. It's close to 100 pages. Do a preview of every single team in the playoff and everything like that. I'm excited for it.
It'll be like $4.99 or something, and we'll be donating all the money.
Hell yeah!
But there has to be a payment process.
Sure, of course.
It's like a whole thing. But Tone has done a lot of research on it all. Names are in new places. Schools are in new conferences.
A lot of them.
Rivalries are in different places. It's like this year should be exciting. It should be invigorating, and it should feel fresh.
Yeah,
and I think that is a very cool. We're on a precipice of something special. We'll hear about some teams that you like in the next hour whenever Herbie's on. We appreciate you, Tone. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who's a former general manager in the NFL, a coaching consultant, I believe, an advisor. He's a TED speaker. He's an author. He's a podcast host. He's a live show host. He's a daily newsletter writer. He's also a man who has 3 Super Bowl rings.
Damn.
A guy who has forgotten more about football than you've ever known. Paisano, Michael Lombardi.
Yeah, Lambo.
Football's back. Football's back. What a good time of the year. It's the best, right?
It is. And what do you think? Do you think because training camp's happening, we're watching highlights and we're seeing some lowlights from some players who are getting paid $40 million a year? Is that why you think football's all the way back? Or what is your reason? Just because we can sense that it's about to take place, Lambo?
We can watch Patrick Mahomes throw the ball around. You can see guys out there on the field. I mean, look, it means we're building into a season, which is so exciting. And then I think, as you know, being a former player, the routine of the week is just makes the week go by quicker. And then we get into preseason games, and then we start the regular season, and the next thing you know, we're in the full swing of it, and we're going to get football every single week. That's the best part of it. It's like Christmas. It's like you're going to have and now this year we're going to have football games almost every single day, so it's awesome. Yeah. And I think it's just great. I mean, it's just going to be fun it makes the week go by so much better.
Yeah, I agree. Whenever you have that football to look forward to, it's obviously a lovely time. I have enjoyed, getting a chance for us to kind of step away and learn about other sports like soccer.
Yeah.
That's been fun.
Oh yeah,
hasn't
absolutely.
it, Ty?
Absolutely. I love soccer.
MLS All-Star Skills Challenge last night was electrifying. Ty.
I will say I was kind of shitting on that, and I asked Gumpy. I was like, seriously, okay, like let's drop the gimmick here. Like, is this worth watching? He was like, I mean, I don't know, but yeah, probably. Saw the clips. It was cool. That was cool. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'd say it's not quite the MLB All-Star Game, but it's better than the Pro Bowl, and it's better than the NBA All-Star Game. So, yeah, soccer, hell yeah.
Okay, yeah, Ty hates soccer, but we certainly talked about it for a while. It gave us a lot of coverage. Shout out to the Euros and Copa America and everything that took place there, and the MLS All-Star Skills Challenge and the game tonight should be a little bit of a closer. The NBA happened, Connor. You guys won.
Yes,
you
we
guys
did.
won.
Yeah, I'm going to be holding on to this for quite some time because football is back. We're starting to look at some schedules, and there is some worry in New England as a Patriots fan. So I'm just going to,
don't
keep
start
this
doing
thing up
that.
here. Going to keep this thing up here all year.
Lombo, we talked about all these other sports, and we're very appreciative. Obviously, hockey. We had Kachuk on as he wins his first Stanley Cup, and he's been taking that thing on a full global tour. But it's like whenever football stuff's happening every day, we're all much happier. For instance, there's press conferences happening now. Guys are having to speak to the media for the first time. This Hard Knocks Giants thing is continuing to roll out what happened maybe during the draft. I don't know if you saw this last night. The New England Patriots were never going to trade out of 3. Never. They were going to take a quarterback. They might have been, kind of letting people think that they were going to potentially do it, but when push came to shove, unless they got a haul like RG3 was for Washington with St. Louis, they were never going to give it up, and no team was going to do that. Did you learn anything from that? And what are your thoughts on how the Giants are kind of managing what seemingly was the draft and then now the regular season training camp as we start?
Well, I think we could put to bed this whole stupid notion that came out after the draft. They were trying to trade up to get Joe Alt. I mean, that name never even came up. Yeah. I mean, that was another fabrication coming out of the Meadowlands that they were moving up to get the tackle. For all the conversation about protecting the quarterback, we never heard anything about the offensive lineman. This was going to be some way to draft a skill player to help Daniel Jones along, and I think ultimately that's been the key. I think what we learned from Saquon Barkley simply was that Joe Shane, the general manager, really never wanted to sign him in spite of his owner, John Mara, wanting to keep him. When the cap goes up as much as it went up and all of a sudden you say, well, we don't have enough room to sign you after you had him on the team last year, I think that's a fairly telling sign. And look, let's face it, Barkley gained over 400 yards after contact last year. He gained 400 yards before contact last year. And if you're playing behind the Giant offensive line, which has been very poor over the last few years, Daniel Jones was under pressure 30% of the snaps last year. If you're in that situation, you're going to have to break some tackles. And Singletary didn't break as many as clearly Saquon did. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, and obviously they're the same age, different prices, and that's kind of been a telling tale throughout the entire Hard Knocks. New York Giants, Singletary, and Saquon Barkley. And you talk about the offensive line. Daniel Jones' first clip coming out of training camp here is a little bit of an overthrow and a swing route, and obviously we pull that because, yeah, exactly.
Tough throw.
Yeah, it's a tough throw. That is not an easy throw. Everybody thinks it's easy, obviously, because most NFL quarterbacks can complete it. But whenever you're trying to get the timing out, that whole thing, a lot of people said immediately Saquon would have grabbed that. Yeah, Saquon would have made a play. There was other clips of Daniel Jones completing a pass to Darius Slayton on the sideline, absolute dime. But then there was a conversation immediately about him potentially getting sacked by Thibodeau, though. So there is, first day of training camp, there's going to be chaos. It is going to be shit. For most teams, it's not going to look anything like what it's going to look like whenever football happens. But these clips, we got to judge immediately. These press conferences, we got to judge immediately. What did you learn from Shanahan and John Lynch talking about the Ayuk situation for the first time as training camp unfolds? And how do we see that working out? It seemingly is continuing to be just Niners are like, yeah, he's playing. And that's just how this goes. He's just playing football for us, and he can be as mad and put as many vlogs out as he wants. Is that the sense you're getting from them in this situation?
Yeah, they have complete alignment with that. I mean, look, let's be clear here. The CBA has given the 49ers all the arsenal they need in terms of the leverage. He's got a contract, and he's come in. He just needs one more good year. Look, Justin Jefferson did it last year, and it proved to be beneficial for him. So it's right there in front of him. Look, I think Brandon Ayuk did a tremendous job last year. 17 yards per catch. He can win on the outside. He's dynamic at what he does. And they need him. They know that if they were to trade him, they're not going to get compensation back that's going to be able to impact their team moving forward. So I think Lynch and both Shanahan are on the same page when it comes to that regard. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with CeeDee Lamb. He decided not to come to camp. The Cowboys are an interesting team because, let's be clear, They have done very little this offseason. They're going to they may start 2 rookies in their offensive line. They didn't replace Tony Pollard, who wasn't an elite back that he was 2 years ago before his injury. Where are they going to be offensively? I mean, this was one of the most high-scoring teams in the league last year, had over 500 points. They had a 172-point differential in the first half, which is the key stat in all of football, right? First half point differential. That determines if you can play from in front. Cowboys dominated in that area. But can they do it again this year with an offensive line that's a little leaky? And I think we saw it when they went on the road last year.
Well, and they got to pay Micah. They got to pay Dak. You got a CD issue. McCarthy's on his last year of his contract as the head coach. It's like, what is Dallas? I guess we're going to find out. CD holding out old school was wild to see. There's some other special hold-ins happening, and some of the boys have some questions. Let's go down to South Florida with D-Bud.
Yeah, obviously we got Jordan Love waiting for his deal, not doing anything. But Tua is in camp and doing 7-on-7 drills, has been reported, but not doing the full team stuff. Obviously a deal not being done. Been reports coming out. They're pretty far apart in what Tua wants and what the Dolphins are willing to pay. Where do they stand? What have you been hearing about the Tua situation, and how do you see it actually playing out?
I wish Danny O would be a GM at every team. He just give away money left and right. He can't wait to pay everybody. I listened to him yesterday. I mean, he must have a printing press in that kitchen, just prints money out. Okay, you want money? Come on, baby, get my money. Okay. The reality of this is, look, you can't say yes to everybody. I think they really like Tua. I don't think they feel like Tua is going to carry the team. Now, Tua made a very clear point. He said the market is the market, which is true. And when this Jordan Love deal comes out, both represented by the same guy that represents Tua, firm, let's put that in that way, it's going to make this even a harder deal to come through. I think the Tua deal is a lot about guaranteed money. I think that's really the biggest sticking point, and I think it's going to take some time to get through that. And the Love deal comes in and makes him the highest paid quarterback in the league after really – that really upsets the cart here, because if you're a general manager, say you're Jerry Jones or say you're Chris Greer down in Miami, you got a guy who's played basically really well the second half of the season, and he gets to become the highest paid player in the league. Meanwhile, you got guys that have had better numbers. How do you argue that with the agent? It becomes very difficult. So I think this Tua thing's going to linger. I don't know. Look, the fact that he's in camp is good. Whether he takes team or not, the quarterback's got a red jersey on. He's not going to get hurt in practice. He's not going to play in the preseason. So I think that's going to be the key. Look, they've got to win their schedule, especially in bad weather. They've got to win the second half. Mike McDaniel's 4-10 the last 14 games the second half of the season in 2 years. Yeah, that's the sticking point here.
Yeah, and, the wonder is, why haven't they just kind of finished this? Is it Tua, the market is the market? Like Trevor Lawrence, I assume, didn't expect to become the highest, and his agent's like, we're going to get you $55 million in this whole thing. That's where it all gets sticky, because comps and everything. And here's obviously the current market as average per year salaries kind of cook by. Trevor Lawrence up there at the top. Now, he won that playoff game. He threw 4 picks in the first half, comes back and wins that game. Mm-hmm. Has certainly shown, and you talk about Jordan Love only playing 10 games great or whatever. I think he had training wheels on early from the floor. Yeah. Didn't really let him do much. And then when they kind of let him go, he showcased everything that he is. Trevor Lawrence had like 10 games right this past year where he looked good. Yeah. And then he got hurt. Knee got hurt. Shoulder got hurt. I think there was a concussion. Yeah. So I assume that a lot of
Kurt, receiver.
Yeah, lose him to the Titans.
They were the one seed for like 8 weeks in the season.
Yeah, so it's they're projecting he's going to continue to play the way he did, and we all hope that's the case. But whenever you're Tua or this man in Green Bay, Lombo, who Ty has a question about.
Yeah, Lombo, in terms of Jordan Love, all we hear is that, neither one of them, neither side is worried at all. He's at practice. He seems jovial with LaFleur, and everything's really close. But if that's the case, why hasn't this gotten done yet when they talked about they wanted it done before training camp? And in your opinion, what do you think is actually holding this up from getting done, like right now?
Oh, I think a lot of it's about the guarantee money, the language in the guarantee, whether it's going to have, the offset clauses within the guarantees, how the payments are structured. I think all those things play into it. The language within that becomes an issue. I think how they want to spread the money around, how it looks like. Like, for example, Justin Jefferson's deal averages 35 in new money, but it's 32 in old money if you count the year that he had. So a lot of that comes out to how are we counting this? What are we doing? I think they feel pretty comfortable it's going to get done, so that's why he's in camp. Look, I think the difference here is the Packers are all in on Love. Now, I'm not saying that Miami's not all in on Tua. They like Tua, but I think the Packers feel like they've been rewarded, much like the Giants felt like they were rewarded when Daniel Jones played well. And when that happens, usually a contract becomes easier to do. I thought the Love contract would be much harder to do because of the lack of data to do the deal. But the Packers are in love with the player, and that makes it a lot easier for the agent to get a deal done. So I think this is more about language than anything. And look, let's face it, if this Packer team gets together and Jeff Hafley improves their run defense, which has been atrocious over the last couple seasons, this is the third best pass protection team in the National Football League last year. They've got great skill players. Josh Jacobs, if he can regain form, this should be a team that puts a lot of points on the board.
Lumbo, they haven't even really exploited Jordan Love's mobility yet either. I mean, obviously you see it as he extends plays, and there's a couple runs in his highlight, but he has the ability to move.
Oh, yeah.
And slide and avoid hits. It's like he's just beginning. I assume LaFleur sees that. I assume Gutekunst sees that. The fact the deal's not done, I mean, the fact you're not worried at all and you've been in there is like, oh, it's just language, it's cool. In my eyes, I'm like, yeah, let's do training. Let's get this settled beforehand.
Yep.
There's always shit, though. There's always some sort of shit, especially whenever you're talking about this amount of money. How long is this going to be, this deal, you think?
Oh, I think it's going to be a long-term deal. I think that's the issue. I think it could be like Pat Mahomes' deal when he did his long-term. What was it, 8 years, 10 years? Yeah, I think they want to. I think what they want to do is plan this out so that they can have their cap in place. You understand where you are cap-wise for the next 5, 6, 7 years. I think it's going to be a long-term deal. I thought initially it would be a short-term deal because, again, there wasn't enough data, there wasn't enough productivity over the course of his career. Not his fault. He didn't play. But I think the Packers feel like they've seen enough to invest in the future. This is their guy down the road. They're moving forward, and they're going to pay for it.
I love it. The new Packers, a love affair, is literally painted on this fence right across the street from Lambeau. I was in Green Bay the other day. It says, the new Pack, a love affair or whatever, and it's like 2 blocks long. So it's like very long. And you saw people walking by and like patting it. It's like, you got the guy. And just a few years ago, a lot of us were saying Gutekunst was an idiot.
Yep.
And instead, you're about to be able to set up a contract, if it is long-term like Patrick, where you can do salary cap gymnastics with it too. You can kick the can down the road, move some into guaranteed signings so that you can kind of offset some money going forward. It's like you got the guy for the next, however, if you get that deal done. And Jordan's also committing to Green Bay through his next prime or next contract offer if he signs long term. That's a beautiful thing. Congrats to you guys. Speaking of congrats, how about Super Bowl champs, Los Angeles Rams? Go ahead, Con man.
Yeah, Lombo, last year or the year before, you reported and broke news on this show about how, the Rams were actively trying to move Matt Stafford. Now, no one really reported on that just because, not journalists, but now it's being reported now that Stafford got his contract adjusted. The exact money hasn't really been reported yet. But is this possibly the last season that we're going to see Matt Stafford in the Rams uniform just because of the fact that this money with him continues to be a problem and also the fact that he's 36, he's kind of on his way out? Do you think this is it for Stafford in L.A. or what's going on for the Rams?
Well, I think the reason they were attempting to trade him was to get away from the $90 million they were going to have to guarantee by triggers in the contract. When no one took that deal, look, the Rams aren't stupid. They were concerned about Stafford's elbow, as everybody was last year. And I think nobody bid on the deal because of that. And he came back last year and was able to avoid injury and played well. And so he had a lot of money in future years that wasn't guaranteed. And he's watched this quarterback market go through, and he's basically saying, look, where's my money? What am I doing? And I think what you have to see is they're a much better team when he's playing as well as he did and he's as effective as he is. I think when you watch his career from where he was when they won the Super Bowl 2 years ago to where he is now, it's not quite the same player, but it's close. And I think the Rams have changed who they want to become offensively. They're going to be more of an inside zone, power team, gap team. They got 2 big guards. They're going to try to run the football effectively. And I think when you watch them play, when they scored 21 points or less in the 7 games last year, they were only 2-5. So they know they need to be able to get it going offensively because their defense which without the great Aaron Donald will be a little bit difficult to see because the fact that he's not getting double team on every single play.
Obviously, congrats to Matthew Stafford and Stafford family.
Yeah.
Whatever the new money is, new guarantee is, and congrats to everybody who gets their deal done in this entire thing. You brought up the 21 points for the Rams. It's going to have to change. Did you hear Orlovsky say yesterday that Aaron really has to do with his Jets team? And today he started, I guess, 4 for 4 and 7 on 7, walked right down the field, scored a touchdown. Very similar to every other quarterback, I assume, coming fresh off of Achilles. They tried to rush back, and a trip to Egypt, and everything else that's going on around that. Orlovsky said, if you really look at it, all Aaron has to do is score like 17 points a game. A guy like Aaron Rodgers, with the weapons that he has, is going to be able to score 17 points. I know you're a very analytical person whenever it comes to, like, you have to be able to score this amount of points, have to be able to score this amount of points. In this game, we got to reach here. What are the realistic expectations in your eyes for Aaron Rodgers, this Jets team, and how they kind of, I don't want to say exist, but thrive through the year without letting, it seems like they have a great past with just, like, taking a gun out and then finding their foot and just shooting themselves in the foot.
Rocket launcher.
You're right. Maybe even a bang.
Yeah, RPG.
Is this possible, we think? How do we feel?
I think the whole thing about football isn't about how many average points you score. It's about how you play the game, okay? And so, for example, everybody thinks the West Coast offense is about, plays, smash 7, curl, 20, bingo, cross. It's not. It's a philosophy, okay? And the philosophy is simply this. We are going to throw the ball early in the game to get the lead. We are going to run the ball. The objective of all teams that are great are to play from in front. The Dallas Cowboys scored 296 points last year in the first half. Okay, they had a first half point differential of 172 points. What does that mean? That means your defense plays from in front. That means your defense can rush the passer. That means Parsons can have 33 quarterback hits. That means you can pressure and create turnovers with your defense. But when you only score, or your goal is to score 17 points, and you're not trying to do it in the first half, you're in a lot of tight games. And if you miss a field goal here or a field goal there, all of a sudden, you're out of a game. The Patriots lost 7 games last year by 6 points or less. They were no good, but they got in a lot of tight games they couldn't finish. The real objective of being a great offensive team, and if you're coaching Aaron Rodgers, and he knows this better than anybody, is we have to dominate the first half. We got to come out and build a lead so that these Jets pass rushers that we've accumulated, assuming they'll find Hassan Reddick somewhere, wherever the hell he is.
Saleh knows where he is.
Japan.
Yeah. I mean, well, then now we can rush the passer and create turnovers. But when you don't play from in front, when you don't do that, when you don't lead the league, look, I'll tell you this today, here, July 24th, the teams that get to the Super Bowl next year will be in the top 4 of first half point differential. That is the key number. Not, we got to score 17 points because we got Aaron Rodgers. No, it's a style of play, right? It's a style of play that you have to play. That's critical. The Houston Texans are really an example of that. They couldn't run the ball at all last year, one of the worst rush teams in the league. But they were able to make explosive plays off play action pass, even though they couldn't run the ball. And when they could play from in front, they were very good. If they didn't play from in front, they weren't the same team. Same thing with the Cowboys.
Okay, so basically Orlovsky's point is noted, but also, when are you scoring the 17 points? How's the 17 points coming? Whenever you need one at the end, are you able to get it? That's just like whenever people bring up, like, we don't want to punt. Like they used to say to me all the time, like, we don't want to punt. We don't want to see you do your job at all. It's like, it's not you don't want to see me do my job at all. It's just like in critical moments, you don't want to see the punter come on the field. Fourth quarter, 4-minute offense, you do not want to see a punt. You do not want to have a punt at all. Obviously, anytime behind, do not want to have to give the ball back to the other team. Everything is always situational, which I think leads us to the man who is the greatest coach of all time and the greatest general manager of all time. Kyle Shanahan went on a show called The TK Show, and this is what he had to say after being asked about Bill.
Speaking of coaching, I know how much respect you have for Belichick and how important he's been to you. Did you talk to him at all about an informal or even a formal role with this team this year?
I did. I threw it out to him he loves football so much that you never know what he would. I mean, I can't believe that he's not a head coach of a team right now. I know what I would do if I was an owner, so that shocks me. And the last thing you want to do is insult someone like Bill Belichick. But I know he just loves ball in the simplest form. So I threw it all out to him, like whatever he'd want to do.
DC?
Yeah. I was like, would you be interested? And he was very nice and appreciative, but he politely turned me down. But I think he's helping out his son a little bit. I know he's involved in Washington up there, and trying to start that help out with Jed Fish and what he's doing out there. And, it could be good too, because I'm sure he's going to be back in the league next year, and I could be going against him. He could be in the NFC West, so it would have sucked if he came here and then he was going against us every week too. So that's stuff you got to be careful about. But he's the best, and I just like talking to him.
Mr. Kawakami, obviously, doing the interview with Kyle Shanahan. He writes for The Athletic San Francisco out there. And I think he feels the same way as a lot of people that are in football. It's like, how is this guy not? And he said, whatever job you want, dude. You can't be offensive coordinator. That's kind of my thing. But, like, if you want any other job that you want around the building, go ahead and have a defense coordinator. Could you fathom him with that Niners defense if he was just the DC? First of all, that's like you can't help but think about. But how many teams do you think did that? And do you think Bill was appreciative of that notion from Kyle Shanahan?
Oh, I'm sure he really was. I don't want to speak for him, but I'm sure he was. It's kind of interesting about that. Today I had a conversation with the general manager in the league, and we were talking about Hard Knocks and what we were watching from there, and could only imagine what was on the cutting room floor of that Giant. And I said to this general manager, I said, you're fortunate that, that your team is going to be successful and has been and all that, and some of the competition isn't as good. I said, really, the main question that people should ask is they should ask Andy Reid or Kyle Shanahan, who don't you want coaching against you? And that should lead you to who you should hire, right? And Kyle just ended up telling us exactly that. Like, if you were to call up, Kyle Shanahan and say, who don't you want coaching in Arizona? He would say Bill Belichick. Well, shouldn't we hire Bill Belichick? And I'm not trying to get Jonathan Gannon fired at all. I'm not suggesting that. But to me, that is the true litmus test. Who wouldn't you want coaching the Giants? Who wouldn't you want coaching the Jets? Like, to me, that's the question, and I think that's what Kyle is saying. I don't really want to have to go against him because his teams will be really good. His teams will be well coached. Last year, for as bad as they were the least penalized team in the league, and their field goal kicker missed a zillion kicks, and they turned the ball over, and they weren't very good at all.
So, obviously the field goal kicker provided Connor some moments where he knew they were going to get a high draft pick, number 3 overall, if you're watching Hard Knocks, the Giants were willing to almost do whatever to get up to 3 in Striker Ridge, get there, just wasn't able to do it. And then we'll drop back. If Marv or Neighbors aren't here, we'll trade back, we'll trade up. Never an alt convo, which to your point in that whole thing, but you end up with the number 3 overall pick, which gives you Drake May, which D-Butt's about to ask about. But like the question for me is, like, let's just hypothesize or fantasize for a second here. Could you imagine Belichick with that Niners defense? Legit.
It would be unbelievable. But
all he's focused on, all he would be focused on is defense. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to do any head coaching, doesn't have to do any press conference. Once a week he has to meet with the media. I think for like 5 minutes is the defense coordinator's obligation. Doesn't have to deal with ownership, doesn't have to deal with negotiations, doesn't have to do anything. All he has is Fred Warner, Bosa, and the boys every single week. Could you I wonder if he even thought about, like, if Bill even contemplated that to do that, because as a football fan, that would have been pretty fun. I think that would have been a fun thing to kind of watch kind of unfold.
No question. And the fact that he would have game planned for it. I mean, the fact, how do we take away an opponent's best, what they want to do? How do we make an opponent play left-handed? He's often said to me before, the best job in football is to be a coordinator. You take away all the stuff that you don't have to deal with, the media, only get 5 minutes, so it's just pure football. But the strategy that he would invoke as a coordinator, which is something that I think Connor appreciates, knowing that, he's watched him all those years, and that's going to be missing in New England. Now, it could be different. It could be better. It might be worse, but that strategy of how to play the game, it goes back to that question about how do we, if we score 17 points, there's a strategy involved in how to play every game. right? It's just not about and leads you to the point. So I think to me, and that's where Bill's brilliance shines the greatest, is the strategy of how are we going to play a game this week to win the game.
I wonder if he contemplated it at all. You know, I do wonder because he's got big Mondays with us,
of course.
He's got the Manning cast, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's got Inside the NFL on Tuesdays.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be hard to turn those things down.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hard to tell us that he's not going to want to talk to us on Mondays anymore. I got to actually go be defense coordinator.
But you know what's, Pat? Though the thing about Bill is he's a football guy. He's a junkie. He's still working on football as we speak. I mean, he's working on the college draft.
How do you know?
I know because I talk to him regularly about it, you know, and he's working on it. I mean, he's up early in the morning working on it. My wife calls it SEAL Team 8. You know, we're in there on the phone talking about things and you know, and it's good for me. It's great for the people that are involved in the conversations because he wants to learn about the teams. He wants to study the college. Look, I've said this to a GM in the league. We were both at Oregon one day. We were watching Mariota work out, and I was telling him about how Bill prepares in the offseason, and he just shook his head and said, I've never even thought about that. And no head coach has ever done that. This is a unique person in terms of his work ethic. Like Patrick Mahomes is unique in terms of his ability to grind and want to be great. You know, that's all he does. And he'll know as much about the college game as he does the pro game.
I love the thought of him watching that Washington team for like 1 week from somewhere that isn't the game.
We're all going to be out there. We're going to be out there together. I think we're all going to be out there August 9th and to the 13th. We're going to be out there.
How about Coach Fish hiring the entire Belichick enterprise pretty much?
Smart. What if,
my God.
What if Bill still does, like he is still acting every week as if he is the San Fran DC and on Sundays calling plays as if he's the
we're undefeated right now.
Yeah.
No, but the thought of, you know, because I forget the exact date we did it, but it got mentioned to me. Hey, on this date you were talking to Lombardi, and we started chit-chatting about Michigan, and we talked about Wink Martindale going back and going against college offensive coordinators. And I said, that feels like a big deal. And Lombo goes, oh, it is a big deal. That's because he's been with Bill. They've been for Steve.
How simple.
He's been watching and he's like, it is a big. There's some. These guys get into a routine pretty much. And in the NFL, you can't do that. Obviously, we need to watch out for the Huskies. Yeah. We need to do that. They got Belichick and Fish running the entire operation. Steve's going to do his thing, obviously. But if you got a dad in between jobs who happens to be the GOAT and addicted to football, I assume he's going to drop some information. And he's got Lombo. Hey, Lombo. I need you to look at something for me. What are your thoughts on? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Like the amount of people.
Yeah.
Only takes half the time because it's college, like we're saying.
Oh, man, watch out for the Huskies. All of a sudden, that over, I don't know what it is. We need to start staring that thing down, even though they got a new head coach. I love to hear that. Let's go to the team, obviously, that everybody knows Bill Belichick from. And then whenever he was kind of,
yeah. Unceremoniously.
Well, it went 3-14, but yep.
Get the fuck out
Yeah.
of the place. D-But's got a question for you.
Yeah, they have completely obviously moved on to the Gerard Mayo era, and he announced that Jacoby Brissett will be the starter to start the season. Obviously, draft Drake May 3rd overall, so everyone expects him to be the future of the organization. But in their front office, because I know as players, we'll look at it in that situation like, okay, if we don't start off great the first quarter, the second quarter of the season, that's probably when we'll see a change. But in the front offices, what are those conversations like going into a season with the situation like the Patriots are dealing with at quarterback?
Well, I think it's really probably the right move here because the offensive line is a mess right now, and I think they've got to get that straightened out. You know, they've got to figure out who's going to be the starting tackles. I think that's going to be the key to getting the line fixed. And last year, that was the biggest issue. They couldn't get the ball to any of their playmakers. Just think about this last year, guys. They scored 14 passing touchdowns last year. 13 of them came from the running backs or the tight ends. One touchdown came from a wide receiver. So that's an issue, and a lot of that goes back to the protection, and they've got to figure out where they can protect. And when you have a young quarterback who's trying to play faster, who's trying to speed up his game. See, that's the biggest thing for all quarterbacks is, you know, you go in college, you know, it's 5 Mississippi. Everything's kind of okay. But when you get to the NFL, it becomes 2.5 Mississippi, and you got to throw quicker and make quicker decisions. It's one of the problems Daniel Jones has is when the game speeds up, he has a hard time speeding up. So when you're a young quarterback, you got to learn how to speed up your game and then be accurate and make those decisions. I just don't think the Patriots are in any position to do that. I mean, the longest play last year from scrimmage was a running play, 68 yards. You know, the tight end had the longest pass play at 58 yards. So they've got a long way to go, and I think patience is going to be the virtue here.
I like the fact that everybody was kind of under the same mindset. Drake's going to need time. Remember, he was the only one who was going to need time. Not any other rookie quarterback.
Nope.
Drake was going to need time, though, and everybody understood he's going to need time. It's like every rookie quarterback needs time, but I like the fact that the Patriots fans were just expecting it. You know, like, yeah, he's going to need time. And then Bill Belichick on draft night breaks down like, hey, this is why he needs time. It's almost like an easier pill to swallow, that you're going to have to relax and enjoy the show for a bit as we kind of rebuild this entire thing in a new era. But it's still going to suck on Sundays if you're losing games, but at least you understand like you're doing it right. And you're right next to the toxic table here. You got Jordan Love is like a perfect. Not that they're going to do it for 3 years with Jacoby Brissett, but like let's give a little time. Let's let him develop and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it is just like the excitement of it. But another guy that kind of had a tough rookie year that was thrown right to the fire, kind of the opposite of what we're talking about now, is Bryce Young, Lombo. And I remember last year after watching his film, you became a believer, and they kind of revamped their offensive line, paid a bunch of guys in free agency, but there was a clip of him walking to practice yesterday, and it looked like he was heading to Algebra 1. What are your expectations for the Panthers this season?
He did have a little Brock Purdy.
A little Brock Purdy, yeah. A little bit of like everybody hates Chris. Like he legitimately looks 13 in this photo.
Yeah.
And maybe
he got done with study hall.
Yeah, maybe it's because his backpack is massive. Yeah, his shoes look as though they are 8 sizes too big.
I would not wear them.
Yeah, again, I'm not really sure what Panthers' expectations are, Lombo. From your point of view, what should they be? Obviously, another new first-year head coach. They're kind of redoing the whole entire thing. What should Panthers fans be expecting out of year 2 of Bryce Young?
I mean, it has to get better. It can't get any worse. Wow. I mean, last year in 13 games, they scored less than 20 points. In 11 of those games, they scored less than 16 points. Now, in fairness, he was the smallest quarterback that was drafted. He's the one who stayed the healthiest all season. But at 5.5 yards per attempt down the field, that's not going to work. But he had no time to really throw the ball, and they couldn't really run the football. Now with Sanders, Hubbard, they drafted Brooks in the second round who they put on PUP. They're going to have a surplus of running backs there. They've got to run the football. They've got some players there. Trimble's a good tight end. They should be better. There's going to be improvement there. To what level of improvement, I don't know. You know, I think one of the things that's going to be, they've got to find a way to play as good defensively. You know, last year it's kind of interesting. You measure team speed on defense by how many fumbles your defense creates. Last year they only created 10 fumbles. They only recovered 3 of them. So they've got to improve in that area tremendously. But I think with Canales, they'll be better coached, they'll be in harmony, and that'll help Bryce Young become better. They're going to be better. It can't get any worse than it was last year. It was as bad as, and it was bad from the start too. And I said it on my podcast. And people in Carolina, I went on the radio and they just said, "Oh, it's just you just have a grudge against the Panthers." No, I'm just like watching what I'm watching.
Just like the Giants, you have a grudge against the Giants too. I heard that.
I do.
And the Bears.
And the Bears. And the Eagles.
And the Bears. Yeah. The Bears.
The Patriots.
Bears. Yeah.
They don't have Fields on the team anymore.
And Bronny. I'm not betting Bronny on Rookie of the Year. I promise you that. I'll probably get blamed for that too. You know.
He's got a lot of time to grow. You need to watch your mouth. Okay, we're staying in football right now. Okay, don't you go. Omar's gonna be pissed.
Yeah, Sixers are gonna be good though. I'm sure Lombo's pumped.
Yeah. Let's stay. Remember we're in football right now.
Yeah, you're right.
Which lots of Olympic sports. Go USA. Obviously, the rugby sevens team tied France today. That's a big deal. France is supposed to beat the shit out of us. And then our soccer team's playing France as well, and we're going to win that. So we're taking on the home country.
Really?
Yeah, the Olympics have started for the United States.
Are we going to win that? Are we, as a soccer country, going to beat France? Are we?
We might.
Yeah, it's a different team.
I could see France just pooping the bed. I mean, this is basically opening the Olympics. I could see France, the youngsters over there, pooping the bed.
The 7-on-7s was basically opening the thing, and we got a tie and a draw out of that. So shout out to our rugby team. I think we won in the previous one, remember? Weren't they?
Did we medal?
I think our rugby team was doing well. I think we have a bunch of dogs. Obviously, it's more football.
I mean,
the soccer team's going to win, though.
Yeah, let's be pumped about rugby because the soccer team is not going to win. Did you see the last time they won a medal? The best finish they've ever had?
When was it?
1904. Before the Industrial Revolution. Before World War I.
Some good teams in that tournament.
You want to know how many teams there were? Yeah, thanks, Scott. You want to know how many teams there were in that tournament? 3.
What?
Guess how many teams the U.S. sent? 2.
Well, that's good.
What? And we won.
And we won silver. So yeah. Well,
and Braun.
That's not real. That's not
We
real.
two of the three podium.
No, guess
hold
what?
on.
They
Tone
didn't even hand it out.
Hey, before we
That's
let
not real.
Lombo go because he has to work a job, and we don't. Team USA is going to change that today. Whenever it says last time won, it's going to be 2024, and it's going to be gold, and it starts today.
Yeah, okay.
USA. Tone has a question for you on the way out here from
Yes,
Hammer Dahn.
Yeah, Lombo, I started this week sad because, I was looking at the Chiefs' numbers from last year, and their offense was just not a Chiefs offense, and I think we both expect them to do much, much better this year, and the defense probably to stay the same. And I was like, oh, a three-peat is actually possible. Let's take the Chiefs out of it. Who do you think can actually take the Chiefs down so that they don't make a three-peat this year from the AFC?
Well, I mean, look, the Bengals, Joe Burrow, they've played them as well as anybody. And the Bengals defensively were one of the worst teams in the secondary last year. And I expect that to be improved with Geno Stone coming in at safety, bringing Von Bell back. I think they'll be an improved defensive team. They need to be. They moved the football effectively last year offensively, even when Browning went in there. But defensively, they struggled. That's got to fix. They've beaten the Chiefs. They've gone into Arrowhead and won there before, which is huge, which is something we can't really understand about Buffalo. Buffalo played the Chiefs as well as any team, and counting the Super Bowl in the Super Bowl with the 49ers. Buffalo ran the football effectively on them. They threw the ball. They just got into the red zone. They didn't make the plays. They missed the 44-yard field goal, which would have sent the game to overtime. So I think Cincy and Buffalo certainly can be challenged to them. Baltimore with the commitment to Derrick Henry, and I think they'll be way more in terms of they'll be in pistol more than they will be in just offset back, because let's face it, Derrick Henry cannot be the offset back in shotgun. That's not, it's too, he needs to be deep in the eye coming downhill at you. But I think the AFC is wide open, and I agree. Look, the Chiefs have question marks. They're moving McDuffie from outside corner to inside, from inside corner to outside. That's a problem. Who's replaces Snead? And then on the offensive line, I mean, Morris, the kid they drafted 2 years ago,
That's cute.
or the kid they drafted this year. Who's the left
all
tackle?
cute.
There's concerns there.
It's cute, Lombo. It's cute. It's cute. All the concerns you have. That's cute.
I always figure it
Well,
out.
I mean,
Chiefs is still the
they're gonna
Chiefs,
be
Lombo.
there. They're going to be there, but at some point they can be beaten. And I think that's Buffalo could beat them. I think Cincy could beat them. Look,
in the regular season.
It's hard to go three-peat. That's why nobody's done it. It's hard.
Amen. Hey, you have gone on like 100, Pete, because every time you come in here, you swing a hot bat.
Yeah.
We appreciate the hell out of you, Paisan.
All right, guys. Have a great one today.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike. Hey, thanks for all the, guidance and shit.
Anything you need, just let me know.
Michael Lombardi. Ooh, I like that idea, Lombo said one time as I was pitching. All right, we'll be back on the other side with a conversation with Matt Rule. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change your life. Is now is a man who will be compared to forever whenever they're talking about GOAT conversations in the sport of football. That's because he won 7 Super Bowls, was consistently dominant for more than 2 decades at football. Ridiculously handsome, so absurdly handsome. An underdog story too, picked at 199 of the NFL draft. Not a top 5 pick, not handed anything. And then what did he do? He went to work, did his job, became the greatest of all time, and now a phenomenal businessman and a great representation of the greatest league on earth. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Brady. Hell yeah,
What's
dude.
up, my man?
Tom, I thought this was all potential gimmick rip. I didn't know if you were actually on the show. I'm so pumped you were here. Hey, we love you, dude. We love you, Tom.
I appreciate it.
When you're 40 years old and you've won 6 Super Bowls and you're already being called the GOAT, was there anything to you getting to the point of just being, I'm tired of Bill Belichick talking to me like I'm a 23-year-old? Because that was kind of the lingering at the end of your time at New England.
There was so much people just trying to create some division that most of it was untrue, but it's just the way the world works. And naturally, I think division from within is a big problem in these team environments. And I don't like seeing any dysfunction in team environments. Obviously, my respect for Coach Belichick is pretty well documented. He was an incredible leader and coach for our team. And I tried to do my best every single day that I took the field. I knew that he did the same thing. And I think that's why I respected his coaching so much.
But whenever they talk about the Patriot way, that is normally the reason that is given. Is like the Patriot way, the Patriot way, the Patriot way.
I've never used that term in my entire life. I think when people say it, I'm always like, what's the Patriot way? It sounds like the title of a book. So I think what we tried to do was we tried to do things the right way. I think we tried to practice the right way and prepare the right way. What happened on game day was ultimately a reflection of what we practiced. And I thought we had great leadership from our coaches, and it filtered down to the guys who really drove the culture. We had so many guys that I played with over the course of a lot of years that really understood that, okay, I'm going to care about my teammates and I'm going to care about helping the team win.
There's a guy on our show who is a diehard Patriot fan. Boston Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Tommy, I have to.
What's up, Boston?
I have to start and just say thank you. You know, my whole life has been incredible because of the fact that you have won 6 Super Bowls. And, you know, I'm a loser every day, but I'm a winner as a football fan because of you and what the Patriots were able to do. So thank you. What do you think the new era of New England with Mayo is going to be?
Him coming back into coaching, I think is great for the NFL and certainly great for the Patriots. He's got a great understanding of how things need to be done. I think Gerard does an incredible job relating to everybody in the locker room, all the coaches, and I think he'll do a great job.
Going into the booth, are you utilizing the same thing, hearing what people are saying about you going in there? And how do you balance that while still being a human?
The broadcasts are going to be 5 years from now is going to be hopefully more improved than the one that starts on day one. So I'm going to go in there with the opportunity to start and learn, and I'm sure by the end of the year I'll feel more comfortable. I really want to be a great ambassador for the NFL and the game. I love the sport. I love the athletes. I love the organizations, and I really.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey, let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink. Stop! Damn it!
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this College Ball Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. Hour 2 of the program starts now. Obviously, it's a phenomenal Wednesday as we get a chance to talk about ball as NFL training camps are in abundance around the league, and college storylines are starting to brew with the biggest and best college football season of all time right around the corner. Cannot wait to be back on College Game Day. Cannot wait to be back traveling the country, showcasing the greatest environments in all of the United States of America sport. We also have an incredible time to display a convo that we had yesterday with a friend of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is the head coach of the football team at Nebraska. Ladies and gentlemen, the face of the Cornhuskers, Matt Rule. How are you, Coach? Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Okay, Big Ten Media Days are happening this week. We knew that. We obviously knew that. We planned this in advance, months and months ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Thank you for making this happen. Stop by the Thunderdome. We are massive fans of yours. As you know, we appreciate the hell out of this.
I appreciate you doing this. When I was sitting at my dinner table having dinner and I got the Pat McAfee FaceTime, I said, everyone stop.
I am a cold FaceTimer. That is kind of my MO. Because the way my brain works, it's like we're on this thing right now, and then there's a chance we're going to be on something completely different 10 minutes later. So we got to get answers right now. So as soon as I learned that the Big Ten Media Day was happening, I was like, who do we know that's going to be here? I literally FaceTimed you. I was like, hey, will you stop by? You said yes, which is why. Hey, we appreciate you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach.
Let's talk about the Big Ten Media Day. So what is this? So you come into town, you'll be at Lucas Oil Stadium. You're talking to every media company, and then what is it? Just same questions? How do you feel? What does the team look like? All that type of stuff. Is that what this week is all about here in Indy?
Yeah, it's like twofold. It's like I'll have some time where I'm up on the mic talking to everybody. I'll have some time ESPN, Fox, CBS, NBC. But then there's also that they take in the back and they do the stuff, the promos, like what's your favorite Halloween candy, So
you're spinning the football slow motion.
Yeah.
Reese's. You're doing that entire
You're doing a little bit of that stuff, but yeah, you get a chance. I got 3 of my guys here, so we'll go to dinner at St. Elmo's. We'll go out there tomorrow with 5 other tems. Kind of give them a quick look over, like how you doing, and then get back to the media.
Okay, so who are the 3 guys? You got the quarterback?
No, I got. I always bring seniors. I think
Smart.
the guys who've been through the program and battled. So I've got Ty Robinson, our D tackle. I got Isaac Gifford, our free safety, and I got Ben Scott, who's our center. So three great guys for us.
I like the fact that you got to earn it. Okay, if you're going to represent our program, you got to be at least mature. And obviously, the quarterback position is going to be something somebody's going to ask about. And I can't wait to hear your answer. But I would like to talk about the team as a whole right now. We're not ranked, right?
Not ranked.
We love that or hate that?
We love that.
Okay, we do love that. We enjoy that. Because your history in college football, obviously, Carolina Panthers are what they are. But as soon as you got back into college football, we got very excited because your track record says, like, okay, once Matt Rule gets with the program, he's going to build it and build it the right way and going to play great football. Did it at Baylor, did it at Temple, Nebraska with all the, I want to say everything available. Nebraska is a first-class operation, obviously a lot of championships. You got to feel good with where the development of the team is. How do you feel about the process of you building a college football team like you have in the
well, first of all, I love building college football teams and being a part of it. And I feel great about where we are, honestly. I think we have a chance to be a pretty good team. And I mean, we were a great defense last year. We were top 15 in every category. And we really struggled offensively. And so I think we're better. I think the guys grew from it. So, man, I love where we're at. You know, I kind of, as you said, I kind of like being able to sneak up on people and be the team that no one's really sure about. So you don't have that very long. Once you've established yourself, everybody's gunning for you. But for right now, we'll hide in the radar.
Year 2 of Matt Rule programs take a step. Year 3 is where I think the magic really starts coming if we look back on your track record through this entire thing. Ahead of schedule as compared to other places, or where would you judge yourself?
Yeah, way ahead of schedule. You know, the buy-in from the players when I first got to Nebraska was really cool. And I just said to them, I said, look, my first year at Temple was 2-10. My first year at Baylor was 1-11. Like, let's just jump to year 2. Let's skip all the. And I'm a little older now, right? Like, you know, I was a hard charging. Like, I'm a little older now, a little more mature. I was like, hey, listen, like, I'll tell you why we're doing things, but if you'll just buy into it. And so we finished 5-7. We had 5 losses by 3 points or less, and so it was brutal. But to those guys' credit, man, they just kept coming back, and so. You know, maybe we'll be a year 2 team. Maybe we'll be hey, make a couple steps. But I'd love to make a jump. I'd love to be a real good team.
12-team playoff, obviously, we've chit-chatted about since the announcement. Kirk Herbstreit looks so good with this.
Oh, man.
He's got his eyes are popping.
Mm-hmm.
He's got this tailored suit. He's real thin now.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't he? He's like super.
Oh, yeah. Almost jocked.
Yeah, he's like jocked almost. He's talking about the 12-team playoff. Obviously, that changes everything for everybody. I mean, there's been a couple projections. I think Liberty sneaking in there because it's the highest-rated non-Power 5 champion and everything like that. Big Ten is obviously going to be a conference where you can slip up a little bit and still make it with the way the future of football looks. How happy are you to be in the Big Ten? How happy are you to be at Nebraska? And what are your thoughts on the 12-team playoff? And do you talk about it with your team?
Yeah, I talk about it this time of year. I mean, I think when you're sitting out there and you're running in 110-degree weather, you better be reminded of why we're doing this. Like, we want to we want to go play for the ultimate game. And it would be irresponsible of me to walk every day past 5 national championship trophies and not talk about winning championships. Like, it's been proven you can do it there. So, you know, that doesn't mean once the season starts, man, we'll get very focused on each day. But I think right now we need to talk about, hey, guys, this is what we need to do. We need to win each day, win each game, and put ourselves in position to go play for it. So I'm grateful to be in the Big Ten because you're going to have more access. You're playing the best teams. I mean, if a year ago you would have said to me, like, hey, Matt, we're going to have you play USC and Oregon as your 2 non-conference games, I'd have fought somebody. Well, now, we're in the league now, right? And we play 9 conference games. Not every conference does that. And so you have 5 road conference games every year. It's a difficult league. And so I think if you can be in the mix in the Big Ten, you have a chance to get into the playoff. And then once you get into the playoff, it's about who's healthy, who's got the most depth. You know, weather's going to play a factor. Like, there's going to be home playoff games in the first round. So, I mean, I'd love for someone to come to Lincoln and play in December. That'd be a lot of fun.
That's a dream, I think, for every school, including University of Iowa. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, not quite the same. We went to Lincoln in November last year and won, but that's neither here nor there.
What's that all about, Coach?
They won.
What, they get 3 first downs that game? I mean, how does that even?
It was a cagey affair. It was a 13-10 final. Like,
Torrey Taylor win that thing?
He was a big part. Yeah, big part. Quarterback, obviously, that was part of it too. And I've said time and time again, I hate that you're the head coach at Nebraska now because I know that, hey, you can't just rest. Listen, I was going to win the Heroes game the day after Thanksgiving. That might not be the case anymore. But you kind of mentioned it, going under the radar and being unranked. Do you think, is a large part of that all the hullabaloo that's coming with USC and Oregon and Washington and these other teams coming to the Big Ten? And is part of you thinking, like, this Nebraska team is totally different as well because you're starting to finally get your guys in there. It's not the Scott Frost era. It's not any of these teams before. Like, is that a big part of it too? It's like, yeah, we have these new teams from the Pac-12 coming into the Big Ten, but this Nebraska team is also going to be kind of a new iteration of Nebraska that a lot of these Big Ten teams haven't seen.
Yeah, I think whether it's rankings, whether it's guys on the All-Conference team, All-American team, I've always believed, man, like you eat what you kill. Like, if you want recognition, then you've got to go do it. So, like the talking season is like it's for the people, it's for the guys who won last year. Oregon comes into the league and they're a top team in the country because they've earned it on the field. Washington played the national championship game. USC won 11 games 2 years ago, so people should talk about them. We haven't been to a bowl game in 8 years, and so as much as I want to be in the national picture, we also have to play a 13th game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have no problem. Like I believe in humble confidence. I learned that from Tom Coughlin. Like I would love to just keep our guys right there. But that doesn't mean that we don't have confidence. And that doesn't mean that we don't expect to be a really good team. And I think people that are recruiting against us and preparing for us, I think they think we're going to be a good team too.
Oh, you think they know? They think. Well, I think it's because of you. I think people just respect what you have been able to build in college and the way you've gone about doing things in college ball. But you just talked about the Giants. Like, you're an NFL guy, though, right? Did you started as an NFL coach? Is that accurate?
No, I was in college for a long time. I went to the NFL with the New York Giants under Coach Coughlin. Then I had a chance. I would have stayed there. I loved working for the Giants. I loved working for Coach Coughlin, but I had a chance to be a head coach. And actually, like, leaving the Giants wasn't a no-brainer to go be the head coach at Temple. But I've had to bet on me. And
do you think you run a more pro-style operation in college, or how do you think you? And is there a big difference? Do people make a hullabaloo about what a word? Yep. What a word! That's Iowa, by the way. He was accepted to Harvard, though. Brain was good enough to get into Harvard. Said, "I want to stay at Iowa. Wanted to be an angler."
That's right.
At the University of Iowa. But do you think there's too much made about college and NFL and the styles in which you go about doing things, or is it two different animals?
No, I think too much is made. I mean, I think if you watch the Kansas City Chiefs play, you're watching a lot of cool things that you see on college football in terms of the style. The differences are, we have 105 guys on the roster. We have 85 scholarships, so you can play tempo. You don't have to. 53-man roster. You try to play tempo, and the guys are worn down after 4 or 5 games. So it's just a whole different game in that regard. But I think the plays, the RPOs, the things you see,
coaching coaching humans.
Oh well, I loved coaching NFL players. I think if you can make it to the NFL, as you know, you're the best of the best. I think the differences are in the off the field stuff, right? Like, the day was over, you went home, your coach went home. Here I'm like, hey, make sure you go to study hall tonight and please make good decisions this weekend. and I'm also recruiting 24/7. The player procurement process is different. Like in the NFL, like you're a head coach, you're hoping you sign one free agent, you're hoping you draft the right guy. We're all seeing the Hard Knock show with the Giants right now. Like you think you're getting a guy, and all of a sudden you don't get us. We go recruit. We can try to outwork people. Now with NIL, it's a little bit different. Some teams can outbid people. So you can get, in college football, you can have multiple number 1 overall picks. Like Georgia has a bunch of number 1 picks on their team. So you can have a better roster, so there's less parity. But I think people are people, and just the NFL guys are the highest form of great athletes.
You talk about recruiting and signing free agent, number 1 quarterback comes to Nebraska, and Dylan Raiola. Mm-hmm. And I saw the spring game and some clips. Guy can spin it, seemingly has moxie. He's going to be your guy, is what it sounds like. And are we excited about having a freshman quarterback? That's a lot of pressure, is it not?
Well, what I'll say is Dylan's done everything right since he's been there. And this isn't just coach speak. I think again, if you truly believe that, like, you eat what you kill, like Dylan, he's competing with a guy last year that went 5-3 as a starting quarterback. That's runs 4.5, that got thrust into action last year. Now he's had another year. So my job is to get as many good guys as possible. We signed Danny Callen, who's another Elite 11 quarterback. So I want those guys to compete. I mean, I want to find out, honestly, at every position. It sounds like I want to find out who, when they don't feel good in the middle of camp, still shows up. I want to find out who, when they get sent down to get the 3 reps that day, who pouts and who goes out and competes. And so I know our 3 guys are going to do that. But what I'll say about Dylan is, since he's been there, he's done everything right. Because, you get a highly recruited kid, but he comes from a great family. His dad played 14 years in the league, right, and was an O-lineman. So the concept of being selfless, of understanding the game like Dylan has, it's coursing through his veins. So he's not just a quarterback, he's a football player who plays quarterback. And I think the guys respect him. So I think we're going to have great competition. And shoot, if you want to play 16 games, if you want to go play for those trophies, probably going to play 2 at some point.
Yeah.
Think of how many times NFL teams have had a backup come in and keep them alive for 3 or 4 games. So
last year there was actually, I think, 90 backup quarterbacks or something like that that played around the NFL or something.
You saw the Hard Knocks. You see them talking about the money they want to pay a backup. Like, they're arguing about whether they should play Saquon Barkley 10 or 11 million, but backup quarterbacks who might not play are making 7, 8, 9, 10. So the position is so important. Let's get as many of them as we can.
Yeah, and it's a long season, as our coaches up here on the stage will tell you, because they've already played a season with the 12 playoff games. Coach Dutch Danger actually has a question for you.
Yeah, actually, I played a few, and let me just say, not to the chagrin of you, but yeah, boy, I beat the brakes off Nebraska in the college football playoff.
He's a Utah Utes, obviously.
Yeah, Coach Dutch Danger's been at Utah for quite some time now. We're going into year 5 now. We got 4
That's him right there, Coach. Yeah, that's what everybody's trying to do.
There we are. That's what we're all doing. Right there. Yeah, get you one of those, Coach. But no, one of the biggest things in this game is recruiting, and I don't think that any of us really knew going into it how much. Obviously, the video game, of course, what that is, but it just in general how much you have to do. One of the things is you're looking at social medias, then you're contacting the family. Sometimes you got to send the house, and that takes 50 hours.
Sometimes you get locked out.
Sometimes you get locked out. Yeah, you don't make it into those top 3 schools that the kids kind of get down to. For you though, when it does come to recruiting, how much are you going into social media, going in, calling families, and not just the kids, but reaching out to the mom, reaching out to the dad, seeing what they have to say about their son, and how hard is it to kind of pick through the bullshit? Because obviously, when you're reaching out to families, they're going to put over their son more than anything. But how often does the other things like the social medias not reflect what you're hearing from their coaches or things of that nature? How hard is that? And then how much are you kind of divvying up between portal and also high school? Because that's something I'm trying to kind of.
Coach Dutch Danger's trying to manage.
Coach Danger's trying to kind of figure out if you need to spend a couple more hours in the portal versus these high school boys.
Oh my God, I need to start playing the game more.
This guy's won back-to-back national champions.
Yeah. I'm in year 2027, so I'm a little ahead of the 8 ball.
First of all, let me just say this: it's an honor. I had no idea what I was getting into.
No, you didn't know who you were in the presence of.
That's right.
I was my son's been downstairs for 3 days, and I haven't heard from him. And
he's recruiting. He's recruiting.
He's building programs just like his poppy.
I'm glad. The thing about it, I haven't played the game, but the thing of it is, you can sit in someone's house for 50 hours and do all this work and then not get them.
Yeah.
At the very last minute. So it's a high stakes. All the things you're talking about is what we do though. And even the era of tech, there was a while where it was texting, but texting's not real anymore. Kids are getting 5,000 texts if they're a good recruit. So it's being on the phone, it's FaceTimes, it's calls. I mean, even in season, over an hour of my day is spent on the phone with families and with kids, and because that's the lifeblood of the program. Yeah. So it's all real. It's all. I think all of us, whether you're in the NFL getting free agents or drafting people, you saw that in the Hard Knocks show. Well, it's us. You're trying to figure out who the person is going to be in the program. Do they love football? Are they going to be able to handle adversity? Are they going to be a part of the team? So you're trying to balance elite talent with elite character and elite football character. So it's a just think about. I don't know what it's like for you, hiring people and the people you guys work with.
I don't hire people. I hate it.
So you guys been
around a long time.
Yeah, we just came and we never left.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So we have hired, and it is certainly a thing. Right. I hate it. I'm very worried that what we have, I would like to bottle what we have and just hang on to it for as long as we possibly can, as opposed to mass expansion and let it just all get fucked up. Right. So that is something you have to bring on more players. I don't know how you sort through how do we keep what we have or how do we build what we have without the worry of somebody coming in and ruining it all, which can happen. Right. In human instinct it's possible.
So often for people who follow recruiting, it's about who you don't get. Oh my gosh, we didn't get. I'm always so I'm concerned about who we do get. When I find someone, whether it's someone I hire or whether it's a player that comes from the right family, that's got the right hunger, that's got the right edge and toughness. I need guys who I don't need everyone on my team doesn't have to be a superstar that's been. I mean, I need guys who are like grimy and gritty and tough and are willing to fight for.
Talk
what they
about Team
want.
USA right now with the Olympics, the basketball team.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out who are the people that are like the glue. You need the glue. You need to find the glue. How do you recruit the glue? You just ask.
You know, you ever see the Kobe Bryant deal when they talk about with they're on Team USA and I forget who ran through Paul Gasol. He said, "Hey, I'm going through space."
Yeah.
Like I need guys on my team, to quote Marshawn Lynch without the cuss words, who are going to run through somebody's face.
Yes.
Like I need those guys, and that doesn't always show up in recruiting. So, to me, recruiting is about finding the guys who are going to be right for you, and who are going to fit for you. And you know what? Some teams are first or second in the recruiting rankings every year. Like to me, it's just about who is going to come there, who's going to thrive in your culture.
Exactly, my program.
Who's going to do what
Coach
you want.
Dutch Dangerous.
And that's what's hard about the portal, right? Because the portal, like, there's no 6-month recruiting period, man. It's like they hit the portal, you got about a week to decide are they right for you or not. And so, you know, it took me a long time to ask Julie to marry me, and she's the best thing that ever happened to me. So asking a guy to come play for me after a week of knowing him was really hard. So.
Are you a big transfer portal guy? I don't think you are, right?
Not much, no. You know,
You will if you need a piece, I see.
Yeah. I just feel like if you come to play for me and you had a bunch of options and you decided to come play for University of Nebraska and you're in the program, then you shouldn't have to all of a sudden be like your junior year. Some guy comes in, he plays ahead of you just because he got more NIL money. Like, to me, if there's a hole there, we go get somebody. So we'll always look to improve our team. But I just don't feel the need to. Sometimes as coaches, like, they'll look at their team and say, well, I know what's wrong with him. They're always trying to improve it. Well, how about you just coach your own guys? And how about you just develop your own guys? And I think when you look at the teams that are winning at the highest levels, they have some portal guys, but they recruit at a really high level.
How do you feel about you being a perfect fit for Nebraska? Is that how you feel? I know you haven't been there long, but I feel like, and have I been in Nebraska? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever stepped foot in the state of Nebraska.
They're crazy. Oh, College World Series?
Yeah, I've never been. I've heard.
Have you guys on the College World Series?
Yes. No, we're going next year.
Okay.
Rocco's, the whole thing. I get it. You guys are buying jelly
Incredible.
shots. I get it. I've heard it's awesome. People have sang Nebraska's praises for sports fans in the women's volleyball thing. Like,
amazing.
That was nuts.
Amazing. Like, it sounds awesome. But the way you talk and the way you describe what type of team you have, I assume that people in Nebraska respect it because they're high football IQ fan base out there in Nebraska.
Yeah, no doubt. They're football people. Like I was in Texas at a coach's clinic, and I saw a guy who's Nebraska alum, and he said, "Hey, can I put you on the phone with someone?" He put me on the phone with his 84-year-old mother in Lexington, Nebraska, and I'm talking to her on like the house phone, and she's like, "I watch every press conference, Coach. Keep doing what you're doing." Like, that's real.
Yes.
That doesn't happen everywhere. It's just, you know, we don't have a pro team. This is the pro team. They're out there from the beginning of warm-ups to the end of the game, and you know, at the end of the day, you said something very nice earlier, like, well, people are thinking Nebraska's be good because of me. I don't know that it's that. I think they see what it has been, and if you can get it on track, we have the facilities, we have the fan base. In this new Big Ten, we're in the middle of the country, so, you know, we're not going to have to travel East Coast to West Coast. We'll have manageable travel. We're good at a lot of sports. We won 5 Big Ten championships this year. We got 7 or 9 kids in the Olympics. Like, we have athletic excellence. If football gets itself together, we should be a powerhouse because we've been a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And so I looked at it like, man, like, I went to Temple. I loved it. I love Temple. But I was trying to do something there that had never been done. I went to Baylor, and Coach Bryles had a lot of success and all that, but I was still trying to get it to a place that hadn't been. I walk by 5 natties every day.
Yeah, they're telling you.
That's right.
Hey, you need to get to. Yeah.
Get
Hey,
up
welcome
here.
to stay. Yeah, you've done good. Yeah, we're proud of you. Very proud of you. D-But's got a question.
Yeah, the legacy is there. The tradition is there. Black shirts, obviously know about that. What went into hiring your new secondary coach, Butler? Been around the game, obviously, for a long time. Coming from the pro game as well. Did great things in Buffalo with the Bills.
Who's this?
John Butler, new secondary coach. I mean, I already know he's a great defensive mind with the last name. But what went into Coach Butler and hiring him?
Yeah, you know, I've known John a long time, kind of got in the business at the same time. And, you know, lost our secondary coach this time of year. Those things usually don't happen.
Yep.
So, but I had a chance to coach against him even in the NFL. Like, I went up, played against the Buffalo Bills, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. Like, you talk about recruiting. When you come to Nebraska and you're like, well, I want to go to the league, and, well, all the coaches either coached or played in the league. And our DB coach just coached the top 5 passing defense in the league 5 years in a row. Like, okay, they're going to help me get to where I want to get, because just as much as guys want NIL, I want them to want the NFL too. And so putting guys there like John that are great teachers that have been at that level, has been the defensive coordinator at Penn State. I know this. I'm a much better head coach when I have great players and great coaches. And so John John was kind of sitting out. We've known each other a long time. I had an opening. Man, I'm blessed that he took it.
Yeah, bring him to Nebraska. Anytime you get more experience in there, it's good for recruiting, too. This guy's been there. You can sell the entire NFL thing. A guy who wrote a full college football preview has a question for you from Hammer Dahn. Tone Diggs.
Yeah, I did, Coach. And one of the big things was studying your schedule when I was doing that preview. And one thing I noticed, I got you. Now, you don't have to comment on this. I have you favored in your first 7 games of the season. Now, but those first 4 games, are at home. You talked about how good the defense was last year and how the offense, needs to make some improvements. How big is it, whether it's Raiola or another quarterback, how big is those first 4 games being at home to kind of get their feet wet and that offense to kind of get clicking before you get into that back half of the schedule?
And shout out to the AD.
Yeah.
4 straight.
Smart man.
That's a big play.
Well, it's the first time, I think, since Keith's back there, since 2019. We haven't been 1-0 in Nebraska since 2019.
Man.
And I think we started with a road or a conference opponent, in most years. So it's a little different schedule this year with being at home and all that. I'll be honest with you, I love it. Like the pro game, being on the road and being home, not quite as much. Like I didn't do a great job last year. We went to Minnesota. It was the first game of the year. It's a gold out. They're all wearing gold. It's a sellout. Like the crowd noise. I mean, it was.
And they're rowing that boat right in your face.
That's exactly
right.
right.
In your face.
PJ's got that.
You had no idea.
Yeah.
You're coming out of the NFL. You're down there in Baylor. You had no clue that there was actual boats coming right into your face, and they were all rowing.
That's right.
Early, especially.
And come crunch time, they beat us, And then we went out to Colorado this next week, and Coach Sanders coming off obviously beating TCU, and I mean it's a sellout. So we started last season on the road. Our first 2 games is together, like trying to figure out how to travel. Here's what I expect from you, and we're on the road versus sellout crowds. And when you're at Nebraska, you have to expect this. But to start at home, then I don't have to worry about the crowd noise. Be able to get down inside the 5 and have everybody calm down. I mean, again, we lost by 3 points. We threw an interception right before the half in their end zone. Maybe if we're at home, it's a little quieter. We have a little bit better connection.
Oh, yeah, of course.
All these little things matter. So I'm fired up about being at home to start.
You got Colorado week 2, I think. They're coming off of North Dakota State. And literally the last time you were on the show, you said the first thing you said to the AD is, I don't want any names with Dakota in it for our auto-conference schedule or anything. Colorado, though, obviously wagon. Everybody's talking about this is the year. Shador, obviously, he's top 5 pick in everybody's eyes. Yep. Heisman and Travis Hunter, obviously phenomenal player. They got Warren Sapp coaching over there now. They got that. How much are you looking ahead to scout all the teams on your schedule first? Like, how do you handle and manage all that? And what do you expect out of that Colorado game?
Yeah, we spend, literally from the offseason, we spend a week on each team so that, like we play Purdue, again from last year, play Illinois, we go back, we go through everything we did, look at them, we study them. Obviously, teams like Iowa that we're going to play every year, that we study them, especially, it's year 2 for us in the league. And then you go back to the beginning of the year, and some staffs are new, like UTEP's a whole new staff, right? So we're watching their defense from Austin Peay, we're watching the offensive coordinator come from La Tech. Colorado has two new coordinators, so that's a little bit of a challenge. So, they're playing against North Dakota State the first game. We'll have some time to see that game, but we prepare for all of them. I think the thing with Colorado is, again, Shador is such a great player. Travis Hunter, there's no real game planning that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you game plan against a shutdown corner? I don't know. You try to win and do the best you can and go play and compete. And, again, it goes back to what I said, man. Like, eat what you kill. Like, if you want to win, go win. And so I'm so excited for that game, just for the game of football. I'm a Northeast guy. I grew up, Pennsylvania, New York City. Like I want college football to be in all 50 states. And I don't want it just to be only in the SEC and only here in the Midwest. I love that we got like a little old school Big 8, Big 12, Colorado playing Nebraska. I love the fact that they're, Washington went to the national championship. I think it's just good for football. And so this game, national TV, NBC, I know everyone's going to tune in to see Shador and Travis and Coach Sanders. And, we'll show up too and see what we can do.
I think college football would be loved in every town if they understood and got to experience what Nebraska sounds like every single game, what a lot of the teams down the South that we get to go to. Iowa is obviously absurd. Ohio State in the North representing, like there's Michigan, you get it. But then there's some schools that it's just not, it's just not the experience that people have in other places. College football is beautiful. College football is awesome. It's been an honor to learn about it the last couple of years and get baptized literally in the middle of it with game day and everything. The future, though, everybody's worried as shit. Everybody's scared to death about the future, especially old school college football people. They're like, well, we can't ruin this. I want my Saturdays to look like Saturday, and then Sundays can look like Sunday. And that is it. You're, at this stage, old school college football guy now. Been around. A lot of these older college football coaches kind of, I don't want to say negative about the future, but seemingly anonymous sources are coming out from one tenured college mind that doesn't love the direction in which college football is headed. What is your view on it all? Do you get asked by people what you think should happen going forward and like the guardrails of shit that should happen? Like how do you manage it all, and what are your thoughts on the future?
Well, I mean,
12-game playoff is awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Incredible.
The more we think about it, the more excited I get about 12-game playoff. I don't have to play it, coach it, recruit it, none of that. But just as a fan, I'm pumped about it. But the future of college football, how do you feel about it, and do you get asked about it?
Well, I think college football is always going to be strong. I think it's, if we're being honest, I think it's probably the second most popular game besides the NFL.
Yeah.
So I think it'll always be strong. I think the thing I worry about is the the group of five and the FCS. Like I coached in the MAC, it was awesome. Like I'm telling you what, like going to Ohio U around Halloween and trying to play at Ohio University is an amazing experience. And so I don't want to lose those things, and sometimes we can be a little cynical about that. But I think there's a lot of guys playing football at Williams College or at Harvard or wherever that love it. So I just want to protect the overall game. But I think we're making some really good moves right now to save kind of what's happening. I think the revenue sharing, at the end of the day, like if you have $20 million for your players,
Coach, that's danger, obviously.
Of course.
and you get $5 million for your players, he's probably going to win most of the time,
no matter what.
And so, I think having some revenue sharing now, kind of bringing. I think Tony Petitti's are and I don't say things I don't mean. I've been around Commissioner Petitti now for a year, and I'm just blown away by how forward thinking he is, and I think that's what we need, right? Like the NFL is the NFL because there is power in the commissioner's office. Like if you try to cheat, the commissioner's office is going to step in and you're going to get hammered. And in college football, for 100 years, it's been marked by cheating. But make no mistake, the problems we have now are the same problems that were in college football 60 years ago. They just look different. It's still one of the greatest games. I think it's the greatest game. And, I have lots of opinions that no one really asked me that is going to actually implement. What I think?
What's the one thing?
Well, I think just pure transparency, man. It's like, hey, if I'm giving you $10,000 or $100,000, like, just like in the NFL salary cap, I want to make sure we all know what it is because, at the end of the day, you have a right to know. And what I don't like, the only thing I don't like is I love guys being able to transfer. I love guys being able to monetize their value. I hate seeing kids go to 3 or 4 schools because people are just paying them to leave for a worse. They're paying them to come be a backup. And what you're seeing now is what you saw this year. The underbelly is guys were brought in out of the transfer portal for the spring. And at the end of the spring, the coach was like, he's not good enough, and they're getting rid of him. See, everybody thinks the portal is the kids unhappy. A lot of times it's the coaches saying, hey, why don't you come here? Or, hey, I'll pay for you to come here. And at the end of the day, when they're all said and done, I want guys to make some money, but I also want them to have a degree. And I want them to have played. Like, it's okay to go play at a smaller school. It's okay to play at FCS or Division II or Group of 5 and play and have a good experience. So I just think there's some things in terms of transparency, knowing how much guys are getting paid. Rules
should be reported. Be reported, just like in the NFL. And it sucks as an NFL player that everybody on earth can Google exactly how much money you have. It's not good for players, their families, friends, everything like that. But for other teams, at least you know what the barometer is, what an expectation is. And also, if it's made public, have to pay that person too. Because there's a lot of players that are signing up for shit and then not getting it, right?
Not getting it.
Yeah, that is a massive
Not at
problem.
Nebraska.
Never in Nebraska.
Not in Nebraska.
Never as a Cornhusker. How do you feel about the state of football as a whole? Feels like we got more talent than ever. Do you agree?
Yeah. You talking about college football or pro football?
Just football as a whole. I was watching these flag championships.
Yeah, unreal.
And I saw a 15-year-old girl roll right, crossbody throwback, and then her wide receiver, one-hand snag, foot in, and it's like, what? And then you're seeing these younger guys get into the NFL, make impacts immediate. Feels like football is in a very, very strong part right now.
Yeah, I'd say that years ago the influx of 7-on-7, like Texas has like high school 7-on-7, and all kids are throwing and catching the ball all year long, and that's why the passing game looks the way it looks right now. And football's becoming an international game. We have international players now. People are playing it all over the world, and so I think from that standpoint, football's in a really we're doing this Saturday. We're doing our first ever girls flag 7-on-7 camp, because we know that it's going to be an Olympic sport, and we think it's going to be I actually think it's going to be a college sport at some point. And so we want to get ahead of that. I got 2 daughters at home. My daughter literally thinks that she's going to replace Jordan Love someday. I mean, she's a Packers fan.
Love it.
She's 9 years old, and she throws the ball every day. And so,
Hell yeah.
It's all good for I think football's in a great spot.
I got a daughter, 14 months. I didn't even think about her potentially being a quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, but it's like at least the flag football development and scholarship opportunities.
Yeah, playing in the Olympics someday. Just think about that. Like,
huge.
What if your daughter someday represents the United States playing football? That's amazing.
I mean, you see so many meathead dads cry. That opening ceremony.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Countless.
Just old offensive linemen, two busted ass knees, hips in there, and their daughter's just out there representing the United States of America. Just tear just running right down the face in this entire thing. It's a beautiful thing.
I love that.
Sports are awesome.
Yep.
Sports are the greatest thing on earth. We need more of them. We need more guys like you too, Coach. You're awesome. Every time you come on and you're talking about transparency, you're just like wide open with everything. I feel like we could throw anything at you and you would give us like an honest answer, as opposed to like a car salesman bullshit. But you have to be a car salesman bullshit guy in the recruiting world, like Coach Dutch Danger.
Sometimes, yeah.
He lies to these kids all the time.
I mean, look, to Coach's point, we kind of have a similar philosophy. You know, you want to come here, of course, I'm going to recruit you, but you got to compete. You got to earn your time.
Yeah, so let's talk about, you talk about the transfer portal and you want guys to play and everything like that. I want guys to still have to face adversity.
There's no doubt.
Like that, I think, is a big thing that's potentially going to go missing in the college football world, because the ability to just transfer, and if you're pretty good, you're going to get money to go somewhere else, but you're also never going to have to experience like hard times, brother.
Yeah.
You know, like there's going to be hard times where you're not the best. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to wake up earlier. You're going to have a coach that's going to tell you you suck, like right now. Like that's going to have to, and it's better for their lives. We're not going to lose that, right? That's going to still happen.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to, that's why I think in my job and in your job, we have to find guys who are built like that. I mean, to go talk about Iowa, I see, I remember listening to George Kittle talking about the time it took for him to get on the field at Iowa.
Yeah.
And just being like, those are the stories that matter to me. Like, we're talking about, Hassan Reddick, obviously, making a lot of news in the NFL, multiple years. He was a walk-on for me. Like, you know what I mean? He was a walk-on corner to safety to back. He didn't get on scholarship till his senior year. I remember he sat in his office with his mother. He's like, Coach, I can't pay for another year. And we got compliance to be able to put him on mid-year. Like, that's why I'm glad every cent he makes now, because he paid to go to college.
He's holding right now.
Yeah, well,
he's holding out right now.
Well, go get every cent. I don't feel so bad about him walking on and playing for free for us. But, so I just think at the end of the day, like, the gritty people in life are the ones who get things done. Barry Sanders sat behind Thurman Thomas. Like, there's great stuff. Think about Tom Brady. Like, he's the greatest quarterback in the history of the game, in my opinion. And think about I do this with quarterbacks when I recruit them. Like, most quarterbacks, you think about it, they kind of have like a journey. Like Aaron Rodgers, junior college to Cal. Like Drew Brees played at Purdue when Purdue wasn't great. Like, you have all these guys, Joe Burrow having to transfer and sit out. Jalen Hurts having to transfer. Like there is some adversity, and the ability to overcome adversity, keep showing up, to me is what makes great men great players.
Get knocked down 7 times, you stand up 8.
That's right.
Boom.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hey, we appreciate you, man. Have a great Big Ten Media Week day. You're here for how many days?
We'll start tomorrow. We'll be here all day and leave tomorrow night.
All right. Well, enjoy yourself. Safe travels back. We appreciate you stopping by. And I can't wait to see the decision you make at quarterback, and I can't wait to see the development of your team. You have seemingly been able to develop teams in players, and you've been incredibly cool to everybody along the way. Legitimately. Not an asshole. After that Carolina Panthers situation, you could have been scorched earth to everybody.
Yeah, you did.
Literally towards everybody. Media. I'm sure there's a lot of people that said things into microphones during those times where you could hold grudges.
I had my Lane Kiffin, Paul Feinbaum moment.
Yeah, there you go.
There is one thing you said. I went, no, I'm
I was excited. How about when they cut away and just started showing buildings?
Yeah.
Smart.
All right, let's keep this on camera right now. It's getting uncomfortable.
You know what? You go through all these things in life, and you come out and you just decide how you want to live your life, bro. And just the energy when you walk in here, man, it's just like it's an energy of kindness and of taking care of people. And I think right now in our world, we probably need people who are less bitter and a little bit more happy.
Hell yeah. We appreciate you, Coach. How about the shit he took, though, and how long we had to wait for him?
But I respect, you guys told me he was going to talk a lot more Iowa trash towards me, and just nothing but respect for the man. So thank you.
We try.
Likewise.
In the Thunderdome, we do try. We try our best to be respectful.
Yeah.
Some people, we just can't do it.
I mean, he's also a fellow college head coach as well.
That's a good point.
Understand the
We've been
grind.
talking a lot about Dutch Danger.
And I tell you what, I beat the hell out of everybody, but that day after Thanksgiving, I'm fighting tooth and nail against Nebraska every year.
Yep.
Who's your punter? Do you have a starter?
Yeah, Brian Buschini. Yeah, he wears his For the Brand shirt all the time. I got to yell at him to put on a Cornhusker gear. So
that's good. For the brand shirt.
What the hell?
Okay. He's representing for the team. He's representing for the team.
You know what I love about him? Can I tell you what I love about him?
Sure.
if you want to be the punter in Nebraska, you have to punt into sometimes 30 and 40 mile an hour winds. And he doesn't worry about, he understands that it's not about his average. It's about how he affects the game. Like, he's not, the ball's on the 42-yard line. I asked him to pooch punt. He doesn't walk out there like, man, I'm not going to be the. Yeah, Brian walks out there and he's like, I will put the ball inside the 5, help the he's a football guy. I love the guy.
That's awesome. How old is he?
He's got to be 24 now. He's working on his second master's degrees, or 23, 24, married. He's squared away.
America or Australia?
Oh, he's American.
Hell yeah.
I believe he's from Montana. I believe he's from the great state of Montana.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know we had Montana punters now.
When you come to Nebraska at some point, we'll introduce you.
Nebraska.
I mean,
we're going out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Game day atmosphere there is incredible.
We had game day at Temple.
Yep.
We had game day at Baylor.
I went into that fucking river.
That's right. I remember. You were talking before about getting baptized. I was like, I saw you get baptized. We actually had game day at Carolina because Georgia was playing like Clemson or something. So I went on the game day set at Carolina just because I was the head coach there. And so I look forward to having game day at Nebraska.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, we're excited to get there because I've seen and heard nothing but great things. And you're the man. Have an incredible stay here in Indianapolis. We're lucky to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Matt Rule. And baby, Coach Matt Rule was awesome. Obviously stopping by yesterday as the show ended. He was getting into town for Big Ten Media Day. And you heard him talk about it there at the end about his mindset about things. He told me off air, and I told him I need to learn this a little bit more. He said, I choose not to be bitter. That's a beautiful mindset. Mm-hmm. That is a beautiful mindset, and obviously we assume it's going to work out for him. We appreciate it. The Talks the Table at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt here. 9-year NFL vet Darius J. Butler is here. Yes, and joining us live in an attic in Ohio, ladies and gentlemen, college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup winner, and the man who won hands on the Wienermobile yesterday, jerked that thing back out of the street and put it into a garage. A real hero, AJ Hawk.
Yeah, Hogger.
You two-hand that thing, I heard.
Yeah, double fisted that thing. Got that thing right side up, didn't I?
Happy to hear that the Wienermobile has been jugged.
Yeah, it was jugged.
We don't know. It did get itself tugged.
Yep, it did.
Off the road.
Yep.
And that is good news anytime that takes place. AJ, did you get a chance to hear any of that Matt Rule conversation? And we apologize. Obviously, we recorded that later that you were not on with us for that entire thing. But he just seemingly has success everywhere he goes, which is why I think we all thought when he got to Carolina, it was just going to be good. And I think he realized the situation, maybe not perfect for him or good for him. They realized the same thing. He comes back to college, and he feels like he is re-energized in this entire thing. And Nebraska is a beautiful place to do it at.
Well, when I hear him talk, don't you think of like, we hear people talk about culture all the time. What's the culture you create? He seems like a culture dude. Like, this is what I do. I bring in the right type of people. I try to develop them, and I want to make them Nebraska players. And he gets it too, though, with the NIL and guys going to the league. Like, he seems to have a good mixture of like old school toughness, tough guy, but he's adopted and he understands, hey, I have to evolve as well as the game does.
And I think the NFL, whether it was back when he was with the Giants or when he was with Carolina, especially with all the business that happened, almost like built him for the NIL moment now, like kind of an understanding a little bit. Now, it's obviously a different animal. There's free agency and all that. But whenever you're talking about money with people and you're, like Madden ratings are a number that are assigned to players, okay? So that is when players learn what their number is comparative to somebody that they think is better. Okay, that they think they're better than. Okay, here's this. But contracts are the same exact thing. And that didn't happen in college ball for a long time, where you didn't have to hear publicly that you were worth $500,000 less than another motherfucker that you thought you were better than. So, like, that's a whole mindset thing whenever you're talking to athletes and players. I feel like Matt Rule, with his NFL background, might have a little bit better acknowledgement of the situation when you're talking to people whenever they're getting offered $50,000 less than somebody else that they think they're better than, and then still navigating, motivating, and getting the best out of that person. It's like, that's a lot to deal with. That is in the whole new world that's in, that some of these old school college guys might not have wanted to be a part of. Matt Rule almost suited for it, like almost built for it. And every time he talks to us, he just seems like a guy who's always like this. Now, I know it's football stuff, but he's always like this as well.
Well, and too, like when you're on a team and your coach gets fired, the guy who recruited you, and you have this new dude coming in, like you can have that expectation of like, oh man, like this is going to suck. But he has the resume where it's, hey, this thing turns pretty quickly. And obviously talking to him, you can see why it turns
ahead of schedule, Ty.
Yep. Yeah, no, and that is like, I mean, I said it to him yesterday. It's like, Nebraska is going to be good. Like, I don't know if it's going to be this year where they make that massive jump. I think he said, like, typically year 3 is when he does it. But the thing that strikes me the most with him is, like, the absence of ego. Because we look at a lot of these college coaches they have these $100 million deals, and it's kind of like the program is about them. Like, granted, they get the players and everything, but we're talking, like, we're always seeing the coaches' faces, and a lot of these guys sometimes come off like assholes. Like, this guy was at one time, very recently, one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL, and I don't know if he even needed it. Maybe it did humble him when he got let go. Maybe it didn't, but, like, he has no ego. He's not an asshole, and I feel like this is like this is a profession where it's very easy. Like, some of these guys are just pricks, and maybe you have to be like that, but, like, he's a good dude. You can tell he cares about his players, and I think that is one of the reasons why when you look at everything Nebraska has to offer just from, like, a traditional standpoint, like, he is going to get that thing turned around very quickly.
Yeah, I enjoy him. And AJ, you and I got a chance to see him and talk with him whenever we called the Baylor-Texas Tech game, the Texas Classic, the Dallas Classic, the Big D throwing bees. I forget the name of the game, but we got a chance to commentate, and we had meet. Was that what was it called?
You were pretty close. Big D throwing something. I don't know.
Throwing Big D.
You know what I remember it as? Impossible to find the right parking lot. Walk around that whole goddamn fucking stadium 15 times in cowboy boots.
Yep.
And then get up to the booth, which is beautiful. The booth was absolutely beautiful. But whoever was driving us around had no idea. I mean, they had no idea where they were supposed to go. We parked further than all the fans. We walked through fans' tail. Then we get into the stadium. Well, you're actually on the other side. So we walk through here. Well, the credential to get you through there is actually in the booth, because you see that's where we got to get to. And then you'll do the whole thing. It's like, all right, sweet. That's how I remember it. And then I remember having a blast in the booth with you. You're a legend, obviously. And that was a great game. That was a fantastic game. Yeah. Cliff Kingsbury's last game with Texas Tech being the head coach. And I don't think it was Matt Rule's last game at Baylor, but it was whenever they were taking over the entire thing. But we talked to the players and the coaches, the night before. And we go into the hotel. And all of his players were just like, yeah, we're just balling, man. We just do ball. We do ball. We asked Coach Rule, we're like, what is your culture like? You're like, we're just ball. Like, that is, he said, I'm not like the most entertaining guy. Like, we do ball.
He said, I'm not the most fun coach to play for. Like, he even said that too.
Yeah, he's like, we do ball. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's why you're able to find a culture, build a culture, create a culture, and hopefully, reap the benefit of it by beating Iowa's ass.
Yeah.
That is.
Well, they'll still be waiting to do that. I'll believe it when I see it. But, hey, I wish him all the best. I really do.
So that used to be a real right. That, like, is a.
I think it's just, like, geographically because it's so close. But I think a lot of people, like, Nebraska's a Big 12 school. Like, they're in the Big 10 now, but, like, they dominated the Big 12 for a really long time. So it used to be, like, Nebraska and Iowa State had a little bit of a rivalry, so I think it just spills over now. And then it's the day after Thanksgiving, so it's like one of those few games
that's great.
That's played on that Friday, and it's the same. It's that day every single year. So I think they have kind of like built it into a little bit of a rivalry, but it's still. I mean, it's definitely getting there. Like, I know Nebraska fans and Iowa fans talk a whole bunch of shit to each other, so like it's definitely getting there.
I like that. That's the first step.
Those facilities. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, that's huge for recruits, especially going somewhere like Nebraska where it is, geographically. But when you get an eye on those facilities, and that's where you're going to be working, that's where you're going to be doing meetings, rehabs, practice, all that. Big selling point for recruits. So I think Matt Rule would be just fine in Nebraska.
Somebody said, and I forget who it was, like, I think it was him, best facilities in America. Has to be. He said, I don't know what else anybody has, to be honest. I have no idea what you could possibly have. And then they've released a video on social media that we found and got a chance to watch. It's like, it is so nice. I think every place is really nice now with the amount of money that's pouring into college ball. But, like, their facility is absurd. I mean, it is so nice.
Well, think of their game day experience, too. You bring recruits all the time to home games. They come to a Nebraska home game. They might not even be playing like a huge opponent. And that place is still packed to the gills, and those people go crazy for football. So I think that's a huge selling point. Yeah, like you said, beginning of warm-ups till the end of the game. And it's true. Like, they don't have a pro team. That's their team. Like, that's what everybody roots for. So I think that is a gigantic, like, selling point. Like, hey, come to a game. Just come experience what this is.
Nick just reminded me that Yes Man, Jim Carrey, ended up at a Cornhusker game, if you remember.
Wow.
Yeah, he was all dressed up.
Good poll.
And it was a big, super duper positive. Yes Man, good movie.
Great movie.
Really good movie.
It is a good movie.
Powerful movie. That neighbor couldn't wait.
Yep.
No.
She couldn't wait. But, like, joining us now is a man who knows more about college ball than any of us will ever be able to. He's also the voice of Thursday Night Football, so he kicks off the football week every single week on Amazon. Ladies and gentlemen, he's got those blue eyes. Ooh. He's got a new body.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's got a whole new body.
Stropped.
Super stropped. Fresh tailored suits, too, as we saw in the college football playoff social media video talking about the 12-team playoff. Ladies and gentlemen, Ohio president, Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah, Herbie.
What's up, boys? How we doing?
Hey, sorry we made you wait a little bit there. We were recapping a conversation with Matt Rule, obviously back in college ball. I know you're a big fan of his as well for all of the things that he's done, and Game Day's gone to numerous schools in which he was the head coach. What a legend, though, man. Well, I really do appreciate the way he talks about the future of ball, too. He's, like, excited about it all, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there are guys that you talk to them, and I think I saw, because I watched you guys, your visit, and you just get done with him, and you just kind of feel good. You know, you feel better about what's going on in the world. He's that kind of guy. You imagine him recruiting, because he's not a BS guy. He just says it like it is. I think he knew when he went to Lincoln and got out of the NFL, I think really he missed college. I think he and his family missed that environment. And I think he was very selective. He had a lot of opportunities. But I think he also knew what he was facing. I mean, they have not won to the level that their fan base expects them to win in a long time. And he's doing it the right way. And a lot of times when you do things the right way in coaching, it's not an overnight thing. Even with NIL and the portal, you still got to do it the right way. And I think he's building it back up. And, you know, you look at what he has on paper. If the young quarterback steps up for him, it'd be a fun year for Nebraska. Hopefully they get off to a great start.
I kind of put him in a spot there when I said that Dylan was going to be the starter. And he's like, well, you got to hey, let's and I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that, because the only clips I saw out of spring was Dylan. Just like the only clips I see out of Texas is Arch, even though it's Quinn's team, and he might win the Heisman. So that's on me.
Yeah.
I need to be a little bit more thoughtful in how this actually works, as opposed to how social media tells me it works. But you're right. If that Dylan kid can be, and we learn more about him from the family of offensive linemen too, like it's like, wait a minute now. Might be an absolute dog in this entire thing.
And he's a monster. You know, his dad, as you know, played in the NFL forever. Played at Nebraska. He was a beast when he was at Nebraska. And, you know, I couldn't believe this kid was verbal to Georgia and could have gone to any school in the country, probably name his number as far as NIL. I don't know if he was number one high school recruit, but if he wasn't, he was right there. And ends up, because of his dad's legacy and his family's history in Lincoln, he wants to be a part of getting this thing back up and going. And I think all you can do is salute a kid that could have done anything he wanted, gone to any school in the country, and he wanted to go to Nebraska, where they've had one winning season in like 10 years. So I think it says a lot about the family and how much his dad means to him. So wish him all the best, man. It'd be, like I said, if he wins that job, that'd be a heck of a story to see him get started early in his career.
College has so many of those stories. Now, they seem to be dwindling in the modern world that we're in, but there's a lot of these stories out there, and we cannot wait for the college football season to get going. AJ?
Yeah, I guess you got some news, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
I appreciate that. It's been a little bit of a long off season for me.
No,
wondering what's going on.
Kirk, yeah, he's a long one, huh? Yeah. You rolled over on that beach and you thought to yourself, I'm going to get some sun on the cheeks here, but also I'm going to think about the Saturdays in the fall. No, you've been obviously an incredible ally. The reason why I'm on there, which is why it was so conflicting in this entire thing. But Kirk, I've talked to you about this a lot, and obviously Florida State's the most recent one with you. It's like these college football fans, the reason why college football is so amazing is because the commitment, the loyalty, the passion, the pageantry, everything like that. On game day, we're literally put in a position where it's like, hey, every college football fan, I'm picking against your team. You know, and people will think about just, when Lee Corso does the historic headgear and the place goes crazy. There's a bunch of other games too, where we're picking against teams. And I am from Pittsburgh, and the way I speak is the way I speak. This team can't stop this team. We move to the next one. Like, do I actually? No, that's me just, these are my thoughts. I'm giving it. Boy, you need to go perfect every week to really shove it in people's faces in that particular world. But you're eating it from alumni in schools throughout the entirety of that thing, let alone during the day. If there's any scandals that pop up, that's not your fault. You didn't start the scandal, but you what are your opinion on the scandal? It's a tough community. They are great shit talkers, prolifically gifted on the internet in comments, and they find addresses. I mean, they're like all the way in. It's like am I the right guy to handle it? They're right, I think, is how I started. You have helped me immensely get through that, and I don't know how you've been able to handle it for so long, but I want to let you know it is an honor to get back up there with you, and that's a massive piece of why, that's a big pro as opposed to a con in the entire thing.
Well, you know how I've said it a lot of times. You shut me off usually when I talk about what.
And with that being said, we have a hard out right now on ESPN. We will continue on YouTube, ESPN Plus, and TikTok Live. You're the greatest people on earth. Have a good one. That's Kirk Herbstreit. That's AJ Hawk. I am a doofus. It's returning to game day. Thank you. All right. Yeah, now you're good. Anyways.
All right. So am I allowed to keep going here?
No. That was a pivot away from it, but you have been incredible through this entire thing.
Now we're okay.
I'm excited to get back out there, though. Coach Saban's going to be there, too. This is going to be the biggest and best year of all time.
Now, AJ, you and the boys have been there, and as much as he talks about, a portion of the audience getting upset with him, you just got to know that's the vocal minority. When Pat walks up those stairs, and he can't deny this, when he walks up those stairs, nobody on our set gets a louder ovation.
Yeah, but I'm working it though,
bro.
Yeah, but they can sense it. They know that, and also a little bit larger person. You're small now, kind of small. So
you're small. You're small. Jack. You're leaned out.
Whoa. Hey, Kirk, let's watch what we're saying. Let's watch our tone in this entire thing. But no, those people.
Bro, that's you're not doing big time wrestling moves. I mean, you just walk out there.
No.
And they go
dramatic.
I mean, they go crazy. Yeah. So that's why I'm telling you, who cares? These people on social media, better than anybody.
Yeah, but they're so mean, and they're so dedicated and committed.
It's the IWC though of college football. It's the exact same thing.
But I think college football is the closest thing to what we have in European soccer.
Right.
I mean, it's. You're right. The Premier League probably has fans like that. Like the NFL fans don't. They really don't get to this level. I think college football. That's what I love about it, though, is the passion.
It's awesome. It's fun.
And even with
State passion.
Even like Florida State, honestly, for every imbecile who tries to create a conspiracy theory, there's hundreds that are just like, disagree with you, but get it. They just, all you do is hear from the clowns. You just don't put any weight into that. That's my theory.
But also need the clowns. That's why the whole, so it's like a dog chasing a tail. Need the passion.
Yeah.
Need that.
But at the end of the day, dude, you coming back for the show is massive. Bringing the guys hopefully around again on Friday. I'm pushing for a segment for you and your guys on Saturday, the way we did, at the national championship. I think that'd be a fun, whether it's weekly, whatever you guys can do. But I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
I think having Coach Saban, Coach Saban in the mix now is, I don't know. I haven't been this excited in July for the season to start. Usually I'm kind of counting the days of how much time I have left until it gets going. Now I'm fired up. I told you that in the text the other day. I haven't been this fired up in a long time. And for people who are haters or negative, the two highest rated college game day seasons, not shows, but entire seasons, have been the last 2 years.
Sports are all the way back. Sports are all the way back. That is an awesome thing. Sports are all the way back. I hear what you're saying.
But this is my 29th year this year on the show, and the last two have been the highest rated. And I think, sports are back, but you're being on the show, so it's a win for ESPN. I think it's a win for you guys, and having Nick Saban on board with Dez and Reese and Coach Corso and Jess and everybody is going to be great.
Jen Latta stepping into that role to tell the story. That has to be. That's another. I've told her each week, I don't know how you do it.
Those stories are amazing.
So good. Because we're crying on the set. Actually crying on the set. I'm like, all right, let me take my shirt off next segment. It's a wild time. I'm lucky to be there. I'm thankful to be here. And I knew where you were headed with that, but it literally is, the sport is on fire. And I think, there is a lot of negative potential chatting about the sport in the future, but it's going to be bigger and better than ever. Let's talk a little bit about some of the teams. Go ahead, AJ.
Kirk, I know Ryan Day's been at the Big Ten Media Days drawing a huge crowd wherever he goes. And speaking of, I'm sure he's speaking of the expectations of this team. We know they're sky high. What do you expect from them? What's what issues are you going to look for early on that they need to make sure they have cleared up?
Well, you played it and you dealt with it. When Ohio State has these kind of expectations, and I'm guessing, every year you were there, you guys were really good. I'm guessing after 2002, your freshman year, and you came back in 2003, and a lot of that same nucleus came back. You guys probably, how dangerous it is in Columbus, let alone the nation, when you're getting a lot of pats on the back. And I think that'll be probably Ryan Day's biggest challenge is, they might win a game, 23-17, and instead of being happy, it's going to be like, man, what's wrong with the quarterback? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with that? This team's supposed to be the best ever. So just dealing sometimes with unrealistic expectations is very dangerous. I've heard a lot of these players talk, at the media week that they've had. Their day was yesterday. And I heard a lot of the same stuff about, hey, we came back. Denzel Burke talked about coming back because they wanted to beat Michigan. They wanted to win a national championship. And so you like to hear those team goals that are kind of at the forefront of their minds and kind of the focus of what they're trying to accomplish. But I think the biggest thing they're going to have to figure out as far as the scheme is the quarterback. Will Howard is expected to be the guy coming over from Kansas State. He was going to be in a battle himself, if he would have stayed in Manhattan. So you got Devin Brown there. You got a young freshman and Jalen Sand. They're talented, but until you see it, until the pieces come together, you wait to be able to really evaluate with Chip Kelly calling plays now until you see it get going. But truthfully, they have 2 games on their schedule, maybe 3, that are really, it makes you scratch your head and wonder, can they go on the road to Eugene and win? Can they go to Penn State, probably in a night game? Maybe not anymore in Fox. Maybe it's a noon game. Can they win that one? Can they beat Michigan after losing 3 straight? So I think it's dealing with all of that outside noise, all the pats on the back. Can they keep a chip on their shoulder? And then dealing with the new quarterback, with Chip Kelly. And which quarterback do they settle on? I think ultimately will be some of the questions surrounding them.
The pressure on Ryan Day has obviously been one of the storylines for the last few years. And then when Urban and Tressel come out and they're like, this roster?
I wish.
Oh, my gosh. This coaching staff? Jesus Christ. And they both have national championships, So, I don't even know if they know when they say that, what they're saying, but it's adding even more for all those people in beautiful OH.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
First one.
It's big.
That's huge.
Yep.
Big.
Also, dunked on Kirk there. He knew that was a moment where he could steal on one of the presidents of Ohio.
Hey, AJ, when you say where you went to school, what do you say?
OH.
I say Ohio State, but when I did the Sunday night thing, no,
that's all.
When I said the Sunday night thing, though, I said the. I did say the for the Sunday night thing because on the sign when you pull into campus it says the Ohio State University. That's the only reason I did it.
Yeah, that's what you guys call yourselves.
Buckeyes, bitch.
Yeah, we're the Ohio State University Buckeyes. And then,
but you say Michigan though, Kirk. That team up north that was always a thing, but Urban brought that in to make it the rivalry bigger and the team up north situation. None of those. That era doesn't say Michigan.
Michigan.
Right?
Yeah.
Not even that.
Yeah, I just hear team up north. Even Quinn still says Quinn Ewers.
Hey, that Michigan team can't go into Columbus and win this upcoming year, right? Can't.
No way.
No way. Especially with what Tressel and Urban Meyer said.
Best team ever.
Oh, my gosh. That can't happen. I can't wait to get to that game. I cannot wait to get to that game, honestly. That's a big deal. Especially if you go to Eugene. As Ohio State goes to Eugene. What if Michigan wins? I think a lot of us who start really.
By the way, Michigan's going to be a lot better than you guys probably think.
You guys, you're talking to the wrong guy. Okay, you're talking to the wrong guy. I've been on it for.
Be careful there.
Yes, very much so. Wink Martindale is now the DC. That is something that is not being talked about at all by him. He's one of the most storied defensive coordinators in the NFL. What he did with Baltimore, other people were trying to emulate. He is one of the, I don't want to say
plus,
a trailblazer.
When was the last time a team won a national championship and the next year it's like the season didn't even happen? it's no one's talking about Sharon Moore in Michigan, other than their own fans.
Well, that's because in the Big Ten this year, it's Ohio State's time.
That's right.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Oregon.
That Columbus.
Look out for old Oregon. Look out for the old Oregon
We
Ducks.
can look out for everybody in the Big Ten.
Coach Lanning is actually going to be in here tomorrow. Coach Lanning's going to be in studio tomorrow. I cannot wait to chat with him.
I may have Oregon. I may have Oregon winning it all. I still
Whoa!
You hate Ohio State.
Breaking! That's a big deal.
That is.
We knew it wouldn't be Florida
I
State.
said,
Yeah.
Hey, if you quote my ass on that, I said I may have Oregon winning it all.
Okay. Well,
Too late.
Let's make. Yeah, Gumpy's already sent it. It's gone.
It's done.
Yeah, it's already out there.
Gumpy.
On the ticker.
Gumpy in the soccer. Enough. Soccer.
Sweet.
Gumpy, the injury, the fake injuries. We just can't, in this country, we can't handle it.
The tournaments are just so awesome, Herbie. I just get caught up for like a month.
So few
I love
tournaments
it.
to watch.
Yeah, there's not enough.
Listen, it's not goals. I tell Pat it's not goals, it's shots on goal. There are no goals in soccer. There's shots on goal.
No, Herbie came up to me and he goes,
Not a whole lot of those.
"You watched that soccer game last night?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, 0-0, but there was a couple close. It was like one of the
beautiful game, brother.
One of the most perfectly delivered lines I've. He was like walking. He was like, "Close though."
Hey,
It was.
hey, couple corner kicks. Never know.
You see Gumpy's new kit? He just got this kit in yesterday. That's what they call their uniform. That's Inter Miami. Whose jersey is that? Whose jersey is that, Gump?
Messi, obviously.
Larry?
He's not playing the rest of the year.
He'll be back for the playoffs, brother. That's the one last
come
thing
on,
he's
man.
got.
It's time for the Dolphins. We're in preseason.
Yeah, this is the
time to turn
Dolphins'
the page.
alternate Inter Miami tarp, Herbie.
Come on, dude. I got Miami week 1. My first game's Buffalo, Miami on Thursday night, September 12th. Come on, let's go.
All right,
we're done with soccer.
You brought it up, just so everybody knows. We will get into the Thursday night in the NFL and everything. But let's talk about something that's kind of captivated a majority of this office. D-But's got a question for you.
You talked about your excitement for the college football season coming up. Season started, and we're probably on the season 5 as Dutch Danger won a couple natties already. I think Coach
3.
Ty still chasing your first.
No, I've won 2. I've won 2.
I apologize.
Easy.
I apologize. Well, I'm
Back
chasing
to back.
my first with Oregon, as you mentioned, my second job already. But what's been the reaction that you've gotten from the game? Obviously, we waited a long time for this game to come out. College Football 25 is finally out. What's been the reaction that you've heard?
I think it's very rare for something to be this hyped for this long. And in our era of everybody complaining about everything, I'm sure some people have complained, but it's rare to see something live up to that kind of hype. But I do think that the game has lived up to it. I didn't have anything to do with it. And I'm, by the way, awful. I mean, I used to be so good as a gamer when we had 3 buttons and our thumbs mattered. Now we got the index finger on both hands. I got no shot.
A lot going on.
You're telling me it's a lot. That game is a lot
It's too
all
much.
the time. All the time.
Too much.
Even selecting how to get to game, you got to be
I'm with
able
you,
to-
dude.
Yeah, it's a lot, yeah.
Train wreck.
Yeah,
me and you can play during the weekends on your bus, and it'll be like Iowa playing. It'd be like a 3-0 kind of game. Whoever gets in the field.
Hey,
Herbie.
Hey,
Son
first
of a
downs.
bitch.
First downs. Couple of them.
Couple first downs. It'll be like a soccer match.
Couple
Get a
first downs.
downs.
There's 2 field goal attempts. You see, I got close enough to attempt a field goal. Missed them, but there was at least a couple of them.
Hey, I can't remember. Oh yeah, I went to a Big Ten championship last year, so we can do this fucking hee-haw bullshit. But guess what? You know what? I guess going to the
Bro.
Big Ten championship doesn't matter anymore, does it, Herbie? Does it?
Not when you're coming out of the Big Ten West. It doesn't.
Well, hey, guess what? We don't fucking choose who we play. You beat who's in
The good
front of you.
news is the divisions are gone.
I know.
You won't have that to fall back on.
I know, but actually, hey, I did want to say, I mean, Iowa, it's kind of shaping up that the boys might actually make the CFP this year. No one's talking about it, but Tim Lester is a genius. I mean, just X's and O's is, but. Honestly, in terms of the college football playoff, who are 1 to 2 like dark horse teams from the Power 5 that you think no one's talking about right now that might make the playoff?
Let's see. I think in the Big Ten, Penn State's gonna, if their quarterback can step up. Drew Aller and Penn State are always a threat. You know, I think they've been close, and I know people that don't like Penn State will say they always lose to Ohio State and Michigan. but I think they're better on the perimeter at wide receiver. So I think that could be a possibility within the Big Ten. I think it's weird that you think about the Big Ten. Obviously, what is there now? 18 teams. I mean, you go down your list. A lot of it comes down to schedule. You're mentioning Iowa, and I'm kidding you, but if Kate McNamara is healthy with the defense that they always have with Phil Parker, they're going to always be able to run the ball. If Kate stays healthy and can give them something, someone's going to come out of that conference that you really didn't expect, whether that's in Iowa, whether it's, who knows, at Loyola in Nebraska, whoever's got the schedule, the most manageable schedule. Rutgers has a schedule that is by Big Ten standards in this new Big Ten world that we're in. They could make a little bit of a run. I'll say Oklahoma, if you're talking like as a stretch, I think people are sleeping a little bit on Oklahoma because I think there's so much talk about them going. You'll see what it's like in the SEC, Oklahoma. Good luck. They got a really young quarterback that they're high on, played last year in their bowl game. And I like Coach V. I think he creates toughness on a football team. I think Notre Dame has a shot. I don't know if they're a long shot, but I would throw them in there as a possibility. I like Texas probably to make in the top 4. I think they could be a team to look out for, not just last year, but with Quinn Ewers coming back. I think they're going to be good. Long shot. How about Missouri? Would you call that a long shot?
For sure.
Yeah, well, did Old Buddy graduate, the running back, last year?
Yeah, I believe so.
But they got a ton back. And
Drinkvate. Eli.
Yeah, Drinkovitz.
Drinkovitz.
Yep. Most improved team could be Texas A&M with your coach. I introduced him to Mike Elko, who's the Duke head coach a year ago. And the opening line to a head coach, who, by the way, is game day's there. Duke's having a once-in-a-lifetime season. He goes, holy shit, look at that head on this guy. Right to him. And he's like, yeah, I guess I do have a big head.
It was a
nice
compliment.
To meet you.
It was a compliment, though.
Thank you.
I know.
It was a compliment.
Still big.
I'm happy he thought the same thing. Yeah, it's still very large. I don't know if you saw him for media days. They popped that thing up there.
Thought it was going to pop.
I think him going to A&M, they could be really improved. And I'll give you one last one. I think Clemson, people kind of shitting all over Dabo, and he doesn't do the portal, and he's games passed him by. That's everything he wants. He just sits there and loves that. So I think Clemson, again, it's a potential long shot. They could get hot and make a run. Veteran quarterback now, and club next. So we'll see.
Hey, speaking of quarterback and coach and coordinators and everything like that, Tone Diggs live from Hammer. Dahn has something for you, Herbie.
Yeah, Herbie, I appreciate and I love all the long shots that you were talking about there. But when I was doing my research, there's, I think, 11 teams that return 14-plus starters, their head coach, both coordinators, and then their quarterback. And when I was looking at this, when I did my long shots, I was looking at Virginia Tech,
I like them,
and Oklahoma State as potential long shots to make the playoff for that reason. How much do you put into these teams where they have a bunch of returning talent, the quarterback's coming back, the coach, in today's land where that doesn't happen that often? How much do you put into that? And am I putting it too much into it to think like Virginia Tech or an Oklahoma State can make the playoff if they go on a run with all this returning talent?
SMU with Lashley.
SMU, in the ACC now, and then obviously,
first of all,
when Georgia and Texas and Ole Miss, that SEC, that top SEC is going to be awesome.
First of all, buddy, I really appreciate how much research you put into college football, how much you love it. I think that's awesome.
Hi, baby Tone.
And
a lot of time.
No, that's really cool. I know, and I know how much you help Pat, get ready for the show. It does not go unnoticed. And I love that you're already going to work here, and already looking at teams. I think what you're saying, if it's a Virginia Tech, then I think a team like that, it applies. I think having an Iowa, I think those are programs that to me are developmental programs where you build up young players, and by the time they're there for their third or fourth year, maybe second or third year starting, now you got a grown man that's ready to go out and win. A team like Texas or Alabama or Georgia or these teams that can go out and get just generational talent, I don't know if it applies as much to them. It never hurts, obviously, But I've just seen too many teams be good too fast with a freshman quarterback or a true freshman receiver or, a couple running backs that haven't played a lot. So I think it's hard to just throw a blanket over it and say, hey, hey, that definitely applies. It's important because the continuity is always important in football, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it really does apply. If you could throw that graphic up there again, Virginia Tech was a team that jumped out to me. SMU jumps out to me. Cal could be sneaky. I'm not saying they're going to win the ACC, but really underrated good coach in Justin Wilcox. That could be a team to look out for. So Oklahoma State, it's like every 2 or 3 years, Mike Gundy has a veteran team. They become a pain in your butt. So I think
he needs to stop getting behind the wheel, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
1,000 times.
3-4 beers.
And then the last one is Utah. How can we ever overlook Utah, right? I mean,
amen.
They got their quarterback back, who we all love, and he always, if he has experience, he's always dangerous going into a new conference. So I should have thrown them in as a wild card to make a run at getting into the playoff with Rising back.
Look at this one on this particular graphic. This graphic is like continuity and talent returning and another year of development and another year of experience for all parties and the coordinators and everybody, And then you just got that. You got bloody
bad Georgia.
What are
they going to be on
Bloody
there?
Tuesdays.
Bloody Tuesdays.
Yep.
They still have Bloody Tuesdays, and everything.
How pissed off are they going to be this year for not even making the playoff? They're coming out taking names. They're coming out swinging.
Bro, Florida State was so mad, which I understand and I appreciate. Now, it was like your third string quarterback. Let's have some sense of reality in this entire thing, especially when there was only 4 spots. But I appreciate your passion, and I would be pissed too if I was a player, fan, family member of the entire thing. You got to be what you got to be. Georgia was also a team that could have been very pissed that they were not put into the playoff. I mean, the reigning champions, we get no benefit of doubt. Like, we get no benefit of the doubt at all. We are the actual champions, and then when you lose last game of the season,
to Bama.
And then all of a sudden we're not good enough. So our strength of wins is better. We're in the SEC. We haven't lost in forever. And then we have one day where we slip up against an Alabama team that you guys think is good enough to be. And we're not. And they weren't even allowed to complain almost because it was like Florida State's. Florida State's the ones that are pissed. Georgia's not complaining.
Yeah, I think Georgia was pissed, but they've won so much they got over it a little bit quicker. But Florida State had every right to be pissed off. Georgia would have. That's what's great about this year, right? I mean, we get the 12 teams.
Is that Kirby?
And
was that Kirby?
Sorry about that.
Fucking tell the boys.
Yeah.
Hey, listen to this. I put my phone. I put the do not disturb on, and a call just got through. How's that work?
So I think it has to be somebody calls you 3 times straight, or it's in your favorites.
Fitting. Got me.
He's in your favorites? Jeez.
Lee, that baby. Hey, WWE. Hey, Fitting.
Hey, but real quick.
Kirk Howard, he called you, I think, right? And then Kirk Howard is what he called you? That was the...
Lee Kirkwood?
Lee Kirk, what was it?
Yeah. Whatever you guys... Whatever. I don't know. I think they're allowed to do it. We won it again this year, so they're allowed to do it. They're going to send you one this year, so you can be Pat.
Say, we were thinking about that. Congrats to you guys for winning that. I don't think we should.
Congrats to you. Congrats to you.
Yeah, let's not. I did not deserve. I am the reason why we probably almost didn't get one. But the
But let me hit one last thing.
All the time.
Florida State is another team that you could have maybe put up there. They're kind of like Michigan, right? They lose a lot. I mean, a lot of experience, a lot of talent, and yet he reloaded. I mean, DJ Uiagalelei, how much fun is it going to be? This guy was at Clemson. It didn't go as well as we all thought. He went all the way out to Corvallis, kind of got things back in order. Now he comes back to the same conference and against their enemy, Florida State. That's who he's going to be a part of this year. And now he's a veteran. And he's got a chip on his shoulder to go along with Florida State being mad at the world. So cannot wait to see how that kind of gels and to see the talent that they have around him, because there's never, with Mike Norvell, there's never going to be a shortage of talent at running back and receiver. So that's another team. There he is again.
Yep.
That's going to be another team.
Are you going to be in SummerSlam? Are you trying to pitch you? Are you getting in the ring over here in Cleveland?
Sweet.
You've got Strowman.
When you do one of these, bud, like I do.
Yeah.
Kirk gonna be on the game.
Kirk, you gonna be in 2K. The people aren't gonna be happy.
Yeah, they're not gonna love it.
People aren't gonna be.
Why aren't they happy with that?
Bob. You know, it's a weird thing. I genuinely. They are mad though, and yesterday did not help. Obviously,
I thought it would.
Yesterday did
I
not.
thought it would.
I mean, Ty delivered some real spirited, right, about some of the people that he's read that from these people about who should be in the game instead of the toxic table. And Ty took some shots at a lot of people yesterday in defending, our program and what we have potentially tried to do. And I'll tell you, I even took some shrapnel from what you said because I laughed at the delivery in which you said what you said because obviously it was all scripted, so I knew what you were going to say.
For sure.
It didn't catch me off guard at all.
Right. Ty came out swinging.
Oh, yeah. Well, Ty's answering. There's been a lot of heavy hands being swung at old toxic tables, Ty Schmidt and Boston Connor, and they haven't even seen
the T2 yet.
They haven't seen the finishing move, the
they
T2.
haven't seen it.
They have no idea what's coming in.
No, and then obviously, our move sets get leaked and everyone's jacked up. They don't, hey, no one's happy about that.
Who put the moves in there?
Oh, I don't know. I think that was hours and hours of R&D from us to get these moves into the game. And but again, fucking Dave Dragon from NXT isn't in the game, so people hate our guts. Boo! Sorry.
AJ looked phenomenal as well.
AJ, you looked fantastic. I mean, these
I got a lazy eye. We
all do.
I do not.
Oh, do we?
My eyes are okay.
Two of them.
That's impressive.
Wow.
AJ, it's so close to being perfect except for that left eye, just kind of doing
Not a carb in his body. Look at him.
Very you should see his entrance.
Cannot wait.
His entrance, we will debut it next week. There's other superstars replicating it now. AJ is the picture of intensity, not just with the way his eyeball can't even remain focused because he's so intense, that left one, but the way he gets to the ring is certainly a part of it. It is, Herbie, it's awesome. All of it's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, I'll be playing this.
That guy looks like he's going to hurt some people right there.
Oh yeah. Wait till you see his finisher, brother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right.
It's going to be sweet.
It is going to be sweet. All right, let's, the 31st, next Wednesday.
Wait from today.
Can't wait.
What some people are describing as the worst DLC pack in the history of video games debuts. And it involves us. Honored to be here. Can't wait to get in the ring, but we need to be draped in gold.
And we will be.
And we need to create these superstars. Some of these Twitter accounts need to be created on there, and they need to experience the T2. They need to learn a little bit of respect from the boys. Don't you think?
I agree, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Absolutely.
A lot of pain next week.
You're goddamn right. All right, Herbie, we haven't got a chance to talk NFL, and you started going there, but there's a good transition question that Conman has as a guy who is starting his own stream. This dude's starting his own show
here we go.
Here in a matter of days, so he wants a little bit of tips, I think.
Yeah, Herbie, how is the prep going for the NFL? Is this something you feel like you're kind of ahead of schedule with, obviously because of all the college research you do year in and year out, or is right now kind of more so the, hey, let's dive back into the college, let's do that first, and then as we creep forward after training camp is when the NFL stuff starts?
I kind of do both. I was with Sam Hubbard and Burrow a couple days ago, just before they broke into camp, and it's just fun to kind of get that energy going when you start thinking about who's going to be the team to beat. Is Burrow going to be healthy? The dude is locked in. I'm sure you guys
Great
saw
hair.
the hair.
Oh yeah,
but he is really wound up about the people they have around him in the backfield and out at receiver. So it just got me. But of course, like you guys, you start thinking about it and thinking about these different divisions and how things might go. But no, I'm always kind of looking at it and thinking about how many injuries. Think about the injuries we had as a league last year. Just to have a lot of those guys back. A lot of those guys is not just Aaron and Joe, but there's so many quarterbacks, so many high-profile names. Just to have those guys back, I think it's going to be great for the league. We just had our Amazon seminar, I think like a week ago, maybe out in California, and to see that whole crew with Al and the studio show, yeah, it definitely gets you in that mood to turn the page. And summer's pretty much, once I get to 4th of July, summer's kind of over, and it's time to get going.
Good for you, man. We can't wait to watch it. We can't wait to watch you kick off NFL weeks every single Thursday night alongside, obviously, Al Michaels and that incredible Amazon team. How was that seminar? Was it good? You guys really grinding away? Probably.
Oh, I assume.
A lot of boots to pavement there.
Oh, yeah.
Laying concrete.
Splitting the atom.
We getting what is going on at that seminar? How many days?
No, it was actually really good. Andy Jassy addressed us. He talked with us, who heads up Amazon. He is a diehard sports fan and really, really supportive of the commitment they've made to the NFL. That was really cool. Al, of course. Al he loves to get up in front of the crowd, and he's like a comedian. You know, you'd be shocked if you saw him at this stage of his career. Everybody who says, "Oh, he hates it," you need to come to a seminar. I don't know if he's ever been any happier with the way like Sherm and Big Wit and Carissa and everybody treats him like a Dahn. So he is. That's awesome. He is in the middle of having a blast, and he's never been in better health. So he's actually headed over to Paris and then on a trip to Europe for a week, I think, with his family. So yeah, everyone's ready to go, man. You know, it's weird to have a seminar middle of July, but they had to do that because of the Olympics, and a lot of people had to work that over in Paris. So we had ours a little bit early, but yeah, man, fired up, ready to go. And how about our schedule this year? What we have? You guys put that up yet? I'm sure you guys talked about it.
I think we talked about it whenever it dropped.
Yeah.
I don't think we've talked about it in a bit, but it is loaded. Thursday nights have like good matchups. Legit. Now, injuries can change everything.
Yeah.
We have no idea what team's going to go, but there seems to be meaningful football happening to kick off each NFL week on your guys' platform.
I mean, just think of the first three. I think it's Buffalo at Miami to open things up.
Meaningful game. Matters a lot.
Yeah. And then, you wonder about how this game could go just because with Aaron returning, it'll be his first game back in New York with the Pats and the Jets week 2. That's the thing you're going to see is so many divisional rivalries. I think there's 11 or 12 throughout the entire season.
It used to be like that, Herbie. That's what Thursday nights used to be. It used to be divisional because, like, hey, if every divisional, if every team in the division has to go through it, you have to go through it. You might as well do it against each other.
How about Cowboys Giants in New York week 3?
That'll be a banger.
That'll be good. That Daniel Jones at that point will be being decided upon whether or not he's a $40 million quarterback that can carry a team or not.
What's your take on Hard Knocks? Watching that, you guys obviously been watching that this year, this offseason?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is. This is the best thing NFL Films has done in a long time. The best thing. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the amount of access we're getting to something brand new that we never expected to be able to get access to, the amount of shit they are talking about, like we've talked about it numerous times on this show. What got cut? Like, what are they like? Nah, can't let that out. Like, can't let that, because it seems like Saquon, Daniel Jones, your draft pick, trade talk on draft, like all the most important shit your franchise has is all being talked about publicly. So, like, I, as a person who would look to hopefully one day be able to own a team and have never seen like that action happen. Mara walking in, no bass in voice.
Unreal.
All of his drop-ins are very interesting because he has no bass in his voice. I think that's just how he talks, maybe. I don't know if it's always been that way. But you can't understand what he's saying, can't hear what he's saying. But you can see his mannerisms.
Hands in his pockets.
Yeah.
Like...
Always kind
of like
he seems like the most worryful person that I've ever. It's literally his. That is his body language. Every single.
Not going to be able to sleep.
But knowing where they were, when the first maybe episode with obviously know how it's going to end, but with Saquon and looking how it ended, where they had to let him go, but you pick up a pretty good back right in Singletary. Mm-hmm. They're putting all the eggs in on Daniel Jones. But they obviously get 2 starting offensive linemen. You pick up Brian Burns. I mean, they got some. Then in the draft, you pick up obviously a difference maker in Neighbors. It's like from where they were and what they were facing and what kind of team they were a year ago to where they ended up. Mm-hmm. It could have been much worse.
That guy on the couch that stayed up till 5 a.m. too. His board didn't count. They got him.
It's hard to believe they got to earn stripes and maybe do shit that's not going to be worth a damn in every business. That's certainly something that they kept in the show. Yeah. That's another thing. Could have cut. They keep it in the show. It's like everything that you want to learn about and hear about, they are actually showing.
How about all 3 receivers in one room together?
Sick.
With the wide receiver coach, that was awesome. A lot of people going after Daboll. A lot of people going after Daboll for being so casual with his feet up on the desk and the entire thing. And then the neighbors' conversations, whenever you hear them, and then you see the chatter about like, hey, this could be but you see Daboll and Shane like love him. It's like, all right, well, they love him, so they got a plan. But if Daniel Jones can't connect,
it's all on him, man.
And he knows that too. And he's like, this place is really wondering if I am the guy. Okay, I guess let's go ahead and do this.
How about all the research they did on Jaden Daniels? They're looking at the quarterbacks. I mean,
We're trying to trade up, allegedly.
Yeah, Drake May's the
I know.
guy.
I know they were.
The biggest
I know. And they
takeaway.
call New England.
No,
they call New England to maybe move
Drake.
up to 3. And
No,
if you're Daniel Jones
That was for the
watching that,
camera.
you got to be like, okay, I guess this is part of it.
He knows the deal.
Yeah, I mean, they asked him all offseason, hey, how do you feel about the Giants taking a quarterback this year, huh, pal?
Well, how about when he goes on Football Scoops and says that Joe never even made an offer or whatever it is. And it's like, yeah, it's very evident that they were moving on.
Plan, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want to tell Mara that, because they
It's
didn't want
almost like you don't want to break up with your girlfriend in high school, but you just kind of treat her in a way that maybe she'll break up with you. That's what it felt like the Giants were doing. Like, we don't want to be the one to say it, but maybe he'll get fed up with us and just go out on his own and leave. That basically is what happened.
It did feel like that.
Well, I'm not telling
Saquon this week came out and said when he made that call to me, I was done.
That was on Football Scoops. Yeah, the whole. Yeah, it's interesting. And once again, it's like the Tom Brady roast. The Tom Brady roast was so mean, hilarious, but so mean. I don't think it'll happen again. This Hard Knocks offseason is like so wide open. I don't know any team that's going to be like, yeah, bring that one in here. Go ahead.
Do they have the option to turn it down? Like,
doesn't the league
for
just
anything?
assign? Doesn't the league assign that to you?
Yeah, but the league is ultimately the owners. And the owners can see this, and Mara can see this, and they can go to that one per club meeting and be like, yeah, we're not doing that.
You think it's been bad for him, the Giants?
Yeah.
Shane?
No, I guess not.
I mean, Mara.
Well, we got to see how it plays out. We got to see, obviously, how.
Yeah,
the season,
if Daniel
how the season
Jones,
plays
if
out.
they go to the playoffs, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, anytime you lose, everything's terrible.
Yeah, but like all your cards are laid on the table now. So like now everybody knows exactly how Joe operates. Like this is exactly how this is going to go.
Table.
You gave away a lot of strategy. You gave away a lot of like how you operate. You gave away a lot of like they're giving away a lot of shit that other teams don't have to give away at all. And it's like for us, it's awesome. Like I fucking love the show. I am like glued to it for the first time in a long time. Like,
yeah, it's fantastic. I love it too. It's almost like a real life draft day. I mean, and what a life that Joe and all the guys in that position, the scouting departments all over the country. You know, Dan Morgan, I remember when he got done playing, he started out as a scout and worked his way up. It's just a fascinating industry. All we do is, the fans get caught up in the players and the coaches and what happens on a Sunday. But man, think about the stress and trying to like move those chess pieces around based on cap and how this is gonna. It's not just this is the best players. I mean, you're moving that board around and you're trying to figure out, do we have a shot at this guy? What about that guy? I mean, so much goes into building these rosters that I think that's the coolest thing about for fans to see. How much work these guys put into this.
I agree with that narrative, and I agree with that notion, and their family members and their friends seeing that this isn't just like, oh, we talk ball, just like you do fantasy football. It's a little different levels, but man, having everybody on earth know exactly how you think about every situation with your team is a fascinating place to be if you're Shane.
Yeah.
It's going to create so many more internet GMs on X. I mean, it's already millions of fantasy teams and building a team, but now you having access, you're seeing the actual conversations and the actual round tables with the different collegiate scouts or pro scouts. Oh yeah, I can do this. Yeah, why don't you do that? And then you see it actually play out. It'll be very, very interesting.
And that whole Saquon deal with Joe Shane, with John Mara, rather, Mara saying, like, hey, I'm not going to be able to sleep, and Joe Shane basically being like, yeah, okay. That's why I am convinced the only time Mara has been in that office is during this Hard Knocks.
Jeez.
Strictly because, like, he comes in there, and you mentioned no bass in his voice. He's not really talking confidently. I'm very much under the belief that John Mara was involved in this Hard Knocks because the cameras were in that room, and that normally he would not be in there.
That's
asking
unfair.
all this shit.
I didn't feel that at all.
That was my
That's
takeaway.
unfair. Me neither. I felt like I was like, damn, Mara's pretty involved.
I feel like I feel like he's
exactly. Yeah, bingo.
I don't know.
So
I
if
felt like
that
he's
is every year, then whose fucking fault is this? Why the Giants have collapsed?
Well, he's actually been right every time. Just every time they say they're going to do something, he goes, I don't know. Jesus.
Not gonna be able to sell any fucking jerseys.
He is the most popular.
Exactly. His biggest worry
by far.
But if we let Saquon go, our jersey sales are going to go fucking down the toilet.
Bottom line.
Joe Shane's like, yeah, okay, John, shut the fuck up. I'm signing Singletary for $20 to $30 million less.
Every time I see him walking out of an office, it's head down. I'm like, geez, this guy's a billionaire, has a team in New York City.
He knows.
Oh,
he knows. We're gonna fucking suck again. I'm gonna have to do the same song. Go to these
I love
cocktail
that they brought
parties.
Shane Bowen in, and they were like, Shane, can you work with Brian Burns? You think that'll work for you? It's like, I think that'll work. Yeah, I think we can make some plays with him and Big Dex up front.
Oof. And
Thibodeau on the other side. Yeah, it's a pretty good group.
All right.
They might be better than you think.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, there's a chance. And if they are, we got to see how the sausage was made, too, which is a beautiful thing for the NFL. And, just like Patrick Mahomes on quarterback went on to win a Super Bowl, maybe that's what people will think about NFL Films Hard Knocks off-season, where we're going to show you everything.
Yeah, usually.
Period. That's just the.
Yeah.
That's the show. It's awesome. Speaking of being awesome. So, you seen one of these before, Herbie? You ever seen one of these?
Never have. Real deal?
Yeah, this is the one. This is the one.
Wow.
Look closer.
Yeah. What's up?
I can't see it.
Yeah, it's right there. It's right there.
Oh!
What do you mean you couldn't? You actually couldn't see it? Jesus Christ!
I could no. Hey, dude, I've won 2 of those, but I didn't get a beautiful belt like that.
Well, it's a title. Thank you, but like the
I got some bullshit trophy that was about this big.
Oh, that would have been cool.
You have
too.
your name on
Lee
it, though?
Kirkwood.
Yeah,
It said Lee Kirkwood on it. Yeah.
Sweet name.
Great fake name.
I would defend.
I'm coming for that this year.
I don't think so.
No more Tone giving you all your answers.
No,
I did none of that last year.
Thank you, and I beat your fucking ass, Herbie. So remember.
Then AJ did. Someone's giving you.
AJ doesn't know shit.
You sound like all those old whites that hate me on game day.
Dude, all you did was pick West Virginia every week.
Boom. Okay.
It was Colorado, right? Didn't Colorado get you into an early lead?
It's over after week 1.
Yeah. Well, yeah. How much were they?
20?
2021.
And then they won by, and then you get the bonus points for the.
And then they finished 3-9, right?
Yeah.
You got on them at the right time.
Yeah, I rode with them for a while. I saw them cooking. I'm a believer. I think they'll figure it out. A lot of stuff, though. I don't like a lot of teams that just have stuff. It's hard because it's hard to win. It is hard to win in football when everybody is focused and everybody's locked in. But there's some teams that are able to navigate stuff, like the Chiefs, stuff, their stuff, their stuff. Whenever the Patriots, there's stuff, their stuff, their stuff. In college, the Saban, I assume there was stuff.
Georgia.
Georgia stuff. There's like stuff. Like the stuff around the program can be a distractor. And like with Prime, there's going to be, that's how it's going to be. Like, can you still win? And I think with the talent they have, they can. Yeah, I think bringing in Warren Sapp's a big deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is
Sweet Mohawk.
Energy, everything he's going to be teaching, game. But they got a tough schedule. North Dakota State start this thing.
Yeah.
That is.
Be careful there, too.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that is a real deal. And I think people think of that.
That might be my first one. I may get off to a fast start with the belt there with that pick.
It's a title, not a belt. Belts hold up your pants. These are to celebrate beating somebody's ass. In this case, all of you. So this is a title, not a belt. Thank you so much.
I'm coming for the title.
We're going to learn a lot quick about that Colorado team.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Then Nebraska.
Lucky for them, too. The Big 12 is kind of a podunk conference now, so they'll have, could be fairly easy.
The Utah Utes are in the Big 12 now.
True.
Right?
Yeah, that's the first team we think of, the Utah Utes.
I mean, they're kind of the cream of the crop.
They're the highest ranked team.
Creme de la creme. No.
Yeah. Them and Iowa State, pains me to say it, but them and Iowa State, kind of the top dogs.
You know why you're getting a chance to be a part of greatness with this thing in your presence right now?
Why is that?
Because West Virginia Mountaineers, buddy.
Yeah.
And that Big 12 conference is theirs. Texas and Oklahoma ran to the SEC because of the super dogs that roam around in Morgantown, West Virginia.
That's what kind of sucks. They won't be the super dogs. They're going to be the super favorites this year. So
people see GG and they go, this kid can't do it, and he does. And then they see Neil Brown and his look, and they're like, that guy can't do it. He does.
What do you mean his look?
Just
the bowl
cut, yeah.
The bowl cut, the visor on top
no,
of it.
that's not what we're talking about.
Sweet.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about the visor and the whole, that's what I was talking about.
Well, what are you going to do when West Virginia plays great and Neil Brown's the new coach of the Dallas Cowboys next year?
I mean, there is a chance that Neil Brown...
Let's trade him for Mike McCarthy.
There's a chance he climbs the mountain too fast this year.
Falls off.
Yeah.
No.
Free falls, his ropes give out.
I don't know. What's an SEC job that's potentially available after this year? I'm worried about
Bama.
Vanderbilt.
How about Bama? How do you feel about that?
How do I feel?
Yeah.
Some people, I don't know if they're not familiar with Kalen DeBoer. The guy coaches. I mean, he's different. The guy knows how to coach.
He's really good. He's really good.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be totally different, completely different as far as inside that building, obviously, and how the operations run. But doesn't mean they can't win a lot of games. He's a hell of a coach. I think they'll be fine. The big thing is long term, can he recruit, obviously, against LSU and Auburn and Georgia, and get the people that he needs. NIL, yeah.
No, we're saying Brian Kelly.
Yeah,
Brian
Bowles.
Brian Bowles throw up that L, talking to your family.
I think Kalen DeBoer's a freak. I think he's a very, very good coach.
I agree completely. He's very kind to us and was able to get Washington turned around very quickly. Yeah, he wins. That's what he does. I assume he'll do the same in Alabama. Going to have to do it without Downs, who's now at Ohio State, which leads us back to the original conversation. Ohio State is packed to the gills with talent. This is the year
You
for
guys
them.
do this every week?
Yeah.
Got to win it all.
Wait till they only win by 20.
Yeah, oh my God.
AJ, you got to take care of him. This is
care of him.
unacceptable.
I'm all right. I'm telling the truth. This Ohio
You're
State.
saying what? Urban and Tress said it's the best team in the history.
Urban's got a goddamn restaurant there.
Yeah.
He can walk around and they do a parade. He's saying the same thing I'm saying. How come?
Kirk, you don't even like Ohio State.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
care?
That's what I heard. I heard you hate Ohio State. That's what I heard. Yeah, you picked against him, man. What time?
Every week.
All the time. It seems like every week. Yeah.
Fucking bullshit. And when he calls their games, he fucking always
So
gets on.
biased. So biased. Why does he hate every team?
I don't know.
That's college football, which is what we're signing back up for, and I am lucky to do so. I appreciate the hell out of you. I will see you in a bit. Good luck at that next seminar you're headed to, and we can't wait to see you over in Dublin.
I'll see you at the seminar in August 6th. I'll see you up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
AJ hosting, you up in Bristol, we'll kill him.
Yeah, there's a Zoom link for that.
Doing it in Bristol?
Yeah, we're
going to Hawaii or
Capital
something.
of the country, my friend.
Yes, they are. That was actually the haggling point in the negotiation is can't be doing the
Yeah, we'll see you up there. Nutmeg State. We'll see you up there, kid.
Can't wait. Hey, soccer talk. Love that. Ladies and gentlemen, Kirk Herbstreit. As we're talking to our friend Kirk Herbstreit, some things happened in the NFL. And obviously, at this standpoint of time, we are excited about arrivals to training camp. Our eyes on these players for the first time as they're checking in to go ahead and try to climb the mountain. And at the end, at its peak, at its climax, is being a world champion and being etched in history forever. How about today? We see Lamar Jackson back from an illness. From an illness. Obviously, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens have high expectations, as they should. I cannot wait to watch that man, who Harbaugh, his head coach, said he's going to go on to become the greatest of all time. That's the Lamar Jackson story. He's always going to have haters. For what reason, we don't know. But this is the guy. How about Josh Allen arriving at training camp? That a baby, Josh?
That one sleeve hoodie. Look how sweet he looks.
Yeah, it's got a lot of swag. I saw him. He had MVS's chain on. I believe he had his sunglasses on as well. Was dancing in a club with the boys, building camaraderie. We appreciate the hell out of Josh Allen. How about Anthony Richardson for the Colts? Only got to play 4 or 5 games last year, fresh off a shoulder rehab. He says he's feeling better than ever. He is walking in with a cane. This is more accurately described as
cane. Yep. Kappa. He's a Kappa. So crossover, new frat. So sweet.
Crossover, new frat. What does that mean?
He entered a fraternity.
When? Recently?
I believe this offseason. I'm not sure what month.
And this is the black fraternity that does the, right?
Shimmy, yeah.
So like the Qs, Robert Mathis and many others throughout the history of the NFL and every athlete, they do the jump. They're big. There is Spice Adams hopping.
Yep.
Yeah, and it is. We've seen it in team meetings, rookie shows. Atomic Dog comes on. Literally, Steve Harvey, I believe, is in it. Like the whole
Shaq.
The Qs. Shaq is. So this is the Kappas, and they're smooth, AJ. They got butter shoulders, is what I was told. They got butter shoulders, and that means that his shoulder's feeling healthier than ever. His shoulder's feeling better than ever from what I've been told. There's AR showing up at camp. We absolutely love that. How about the new quarterback down in Atlanta? $180 million, $130 million guaranteed, but we're going to quarterback. Kirk Cousins shows up in an Atlanta Hawks jersey. Obviously, the guns are on display. As a man who is thought going to a place that was going to be 100% his team and his final team and retire there. And they say, not so fast, Kirk Cousins. We're actually going to draft somebody that you're going to have to teach while also learning. That's his first time checking into training camp at the Atlanta Falcons. And that is just how it has go. And then here's quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Russell Wilson, showing up. Thanks mucho to Brian Batko of Post-Gazette Sports, the newspaper in Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Russell Wilson has arrived at training camp for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hell yeah.
Use me, Jesus! Wait, where is he?
What's that?
He's too
right
quick.
there.
You guys
Right
couldn't
there.
see him. That's how much speed he's gained in the offseason.
And you guys are going to say, did you do all of those?
Whoa. That's how much speed right there. That's the Russ effect.
That's Russell Wilson, baby.
Is that really the video you got? Is that the video they put out?
Yeah, and people are going to say, you assholes did that just so you could show that Russell Wilson video at the end. And no. That is not how we operate, but this is...
Let's make it clear, the Steelers didn't put that out, AJ.
That's
okay?
Post-Gazette Sports journalist Brian Botko.
It feels like you guys did do this just to do this.
No, if we did that, we would have the sweet picture with Kaboli still with his leg sleeve on.
Good point.
Speaking of, we should get to that, but Botko, thanks for the angle, thanks for the shot. It is big news.
Yeah.
And once we finally saw Russell Wilson in a different
That was the final video. I saw that was the final one because I see the other ones where I actually get to see Russ in his sweet Steelers shirt and Kaboli, but that was the tweet.
That was the one I saw this morning.
Yeah.
I was putting birthday together
Sweet
for
car.
the
Sweet
wife.
car.
This is the one I
How
saw.
could have he known that Russ had to go behind the car and make sure it wasn't leaking oil
Well, the thing with
before he came out?
phones is, Ty, you can keep recording.
No.
Nah, Russ turns him off.
Well, then how do you... possibly. He actually did turn that corner of that G-Wagon there. Had a Pittsburgh Steelers shirt that you could find at any store pretty much. Probably Dahn Strip, hopefully he bought it. And then he asked, what's PR guy, Bert?
Lawton.
Bert Lawton.
Bert Lawton.
I was trying to figure out his last name. He says, Bert, who's been a Pittsburgh Steelers PR guy for a long time, great dude, good dude, been good to us, good Pittsburgh boy. Hey, that's a good Pittsburgh boy there. He goes, Bert, we talking to him now? And you go, later, do it later. Oh, later, okay. And he just walks right past
Catch
him.
my keys, bitch.
Yeah, Bert, no.
Valet shit.
No, you don't do that to Bert.
No, that's when he hit him with a use me Jesus
Use me,
on his
Jesus.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
He is going to be used by Jesus.
Always. Every day.
If that means getting a Super Bowl, then I'll let Jesus use me all day long, too.
Proud of you, Tone. Tone, Russell Wilson is the face of Pittsburgh. We feel good. We feel pumped about it.
I've never felt better. Okay, I wish I was
Really?
lying.
Better than when 7 was there? Wow.
Well, no. I mean, that's not possible. But in post 7, A7, AS, yeah, about as good as you can feel.
Proud of you. Hey, great work today. That 14-team continuity thing was beautiful.
Felt good.
Good question. Good grinding. That means there's going to be a good hammer Dahn today.
Good job from you guys today.
Oh, hey, do we have any corrections? That's a good call.
There are some, not many from you guys though.
Oh, sweet. Love that. We love this.
From the guests. The guests kind of fucked up today. I think Rule and Herbie talked about the amount of backup quarterbacks in the NFL in the last couple of seasons. 66 was the number of starting quarterbacks last year in the NFL.
I said 90, I think.
Close. Flip that first 6 upside down.
You guys were talking about Rule in year 2 versus year 3. Year 3 is when Temple and Baylor got to double-digit wins. But in year 2, Temple had 4 more wins than year 1, and Baylor had 6 more wins than year 1. So there will be some improvement this year. Rule pretended like he didn't know who the fuck Dutch Danger was. Which seemed,
But he did show respect.
He did show respect, but I mean the guy is back-to-back national champions. Rule knows who Dutch Danger is, so I thought that was weird. I checked with sources. Lombo, there's not a printing press of money in Dan's kitchen, as Lombo.
I forgot he brought that up.
Yeah, he did. Good point.
And then, you guys did have one mistake, one huge mistake. I saw a video. Actually, I saw 2 videos today. Michael Rubin, I think he owns Fanatics. You guys. Well, how come him throwing a baseball hasn't been on this program yet?
What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
He did it again?
I hate.
We showed this last week, Tone.
Is that Paul Skeens?
Oh, good Lord.
This one's 36 or something?
Oh.
You guys showed this?
Paul Peens.
39, there it is once again. Yes, that is Mr. Rubin throwing a baseball. That's from a long time ago. Tone.
Well, that's another mistake by me then.
Okay.
Okay, so we're correcting the corrector.
Yep.
That's part of the problem, but that's also part of the beauty.
Yeah.
Because as long as we can continue to learn, we can continue to get better.
Did you see that control, that command of the plate?
Well, the third one, the one we didn't get to see, was going to be...
He burns it right down the middle.
103. Yeah.
It is interesting, like,
How does he grip the ball? I want to know how he grips the ball to let it come out that.
He's a knuckle pitcher.
No, palming it. He's holding it by the
100%
palm.
Too much spider
for
tag.
sure.
You don't think
Right.
it's all fingies?
Yeah,
No.
he's not.
Well,
That's,
that-
I thought the movement on it. That's why it got
Well,
bottom left, top right.
if you know how to throw a fucking baseball, but if you pick it up in the palm of your hand and just fucking go like
He even
that.
took some off at the second one. Still couldn't find the catcher's
No,
mitt there.
he wasn't. The second one.
The first one was gas. The second one was the off speed.
He did,
All
yeah.
right, are we ready? Tone, I hope you're happy. This is from weeks ago. Hope you're happy, Tone.
I'm not happy.
Oh, boy.
That's from
not
weeks
happy.
ago. A guy's doing a lot of things for sports, though. You know, that's
His
it.
shoulder okay?
He's
Gosh,
in there.
might need Tommy John surgery after that.
Yeah, and also maybe his hips too. There was a lot.
Yeah, broken ribs.
Throwing an Air Force One's not easy either because you've got a big base.
Yeah.
He
Easy.
couldn't really flip his
Easy.
hips. You
All
know
right.
what I mean? In this entire thing.
Throwing an Air Force Ones isn't easy.
That's right, because he got a big base.
This guy should spend 23 hours every single day for however long, like, learn how to throw a fucking baseball, dude.
No, he doesn't have to. He's already at this. He does throw 48 miles an hour.
He is baseball.
I think we're past that. I think he's probably moved on from that part of
He
it.
shouldn't. They should show this every single day.
Well, Tone's trying to, and it sounds like you back. I don't think so.
You're kind of born with that, though.
It makes
kind
me
of
sick
born
to
with
my
being able to
stomach.
throw and catch.
It legit makes me sick to my stomach.
You probably
My tummy hurts. I feel like I need to go shit and puke right now.
That's standard operating procedure for you. That's
It's
Ty
not.
Schmidt football.
I had Jersey Mike's today. They would never.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Good product.
But how come people don't? I guess it's just.
We assume everybody can shoot a basketball, can throw, and can catch.
And that is so narrow-minded of us, which we are going to
The
continue.
guy owns the biggest sports merchandise company in the world. Learn how to throw a fucking baseball.
I think we're all understanding.
God.
Or just don't do it publicly.
Well,
That's the problem we have.
Obviously, but
anyways, we already passed this. We did this 2 weeks. Thank you, Tone. Thank you.
on,
Great show, Tone.
Sorry.
Thanks, Toad.
My bad.
what are
My
we
bad.
doing, man?
I assume that's why no baseball players were invited to the white party.
Was he the quarterback, like all-time quarterback?
Wow.
In the, all
It's in the middle of the season. They can't make it to the party.
He's got the
Football
most
game?
points in the
I think
history
Tom
of
Brady was the
Did
California.
he play in college somewhere?
Baseball, yeah. Texas.
App State.
Have
I
surgery.
thought both. Football, baseball,
All right,
both.
we move along. We
He
move
was a
along.
slot receiver for Colt McCoy. His last name used to be Shipley.
We're unburdened by.
I remember him.
correct.
Here we go.
those-
Finish
that-
I have a correction.
Finish that one.
I
Finish
don't
that.
believe he played baseball or football at Texas.
Okay, we're unburdened by what has been on this particular program and the mistakes that we have made as we power along here. It is very narrow-minded of us to not understand people that don't watch sports or don't understand sports or have never tried sports. But each one reach one, each one teach one. We need to continue to grow the sports community because the world needs more sports than it's ever needed before. And we're right on the precipice of this Olympic Games. It's already started. The USA rugby team tied France, who was supposed to absolutely maul them earlier today. Then our soccer team's playing France, I believe right now, to kick off the Olympic Games for our soccer team. So it's like right now we're in a time to celebrate sports. Let's do that. And I hope some of these people in these other parts of the world that are currently just seemingly collapsing and going after each other, why don't you just fucking put your sword down for 10 minutes, watch the Olympic Games, fake root for a team, even if you don't really root, and just disappear for a little bit in competition, which is what we all need. We all need something to pull for, root for, go for, and that's why the fact that football is just
43 days away.
and college football is only
31 days away.
Let's enjoy all of this. We're so incredibly lucky and thankful that we get to do this every day. Game day is going to be awesome. I'm so honored that I get the opportunity to be a part of that show. And let's enjoy it all. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Happy birthday to my wife.
Happy birthday, Sam.
Bars.
Amen. We're in this thing together. Team on me, team on three. 1, 2, 3, team. Goodbye.